Oh wait. I hold my tongue.
Well, you don't have to hold it any longer, Evan. We are already live.
Fuck.
Yes, demonetized. Let's go.
StreamYard didn't tell me.
What can I say? I'm sure they'll tell you in the next 10 seconds. But welcome everybody back to My Cup of Tea. This is episode number 114. Should we just like roll over the speedometer and just say it's 14?
Yeah. New year, new us. It's like a Marvel comic book, just relaunching every new year.
Ultimate My Cup of Tea.
There we go. Yeah, Ultimate. Oh shit, that comes out this month, right? Ultimate Spider-Man. Is that
start covering comics on here?
Did you read issue number 4? Yeah.
$3.99. Fuck. But yeah, we're back. We got plenty to talk about. We're discussing the multitude of shows.
So much shows.
And our favorite movies of the year. We also have couple movie news in the Marvel realm. Hey Evan, I ventured to the theater recently.
You went to the theater before me this year. I have not been to the theater in 2024.
Yeah, was it after me? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 5 stars. That's my quote on Letterboxd. But I did my infamous triple feature.
Damn. What'd you see?
I wanted to catch some movies of the last
year. Iron Claw?
I didn't catch Iron Claw. I didn't catch Poor Things. Again, saying everyone's better judgment.
The fuck you see Aquaman 2?
Listen,
did?
Hold on, let me go down the roster. I went into The Holdovers.
Good.
Yeah.
Great movie.
All right. And then I went into Wonka.
Great movie.
And then I went into Aquaman Lost Kingdom.
Damn, 2 for 3, that's fine. Was that because you wanted to, or because you wanted to like? Oh, we did watch Aquaman 1, so yeah, I feel like you were.
We were prepping.
We were prepping. So yeah, I'll give you a leeway. I'm just saying that in comparison to the movies that are out there. But yeah, Aquaman 2. What'd you think? Fun? Not as good as the first one, in my opinion, but still fun.
Well, that was the third movie of my triple feature day.
And so you were knocked out. You slept through the whole time.
I didn't, but I was going into it and I was like, the bar's open. I might need this. So I got a drink, didn't really hit me, but it was tasty. And I watched Aquaman Lost Kingdom, and it was solid. I'm mainly here for Orm, I feel like.
Me too. Patrick Wilson remains like the best part of both movies, even if I think a lot of the actors in this movie were kind of like phoning it in, not doing the best work I've seen them in, even in comparison to the first one. But I think Patrick Wilson was just really good as the brother. He goes to his cliche, did I trust this guy, but now he's good arc that, a lot of movies do these days, superhero movies especially. But I thought Orm was really good. His connection with Aquaman was still pretty strong, but even though I think the missed opportunity for these movies in comparison to other regal, familial kind of movies, a la Black Panther, like I'm not understanding. I understand if I'm not like connecting with the family dynamic as much as the movie I think wants me to. The whole mother, I forget his mother's name, but like mother, Orm, and Arthur relationship really isn't like felt for me. He's kept in spoiler alert for Aquaman 2 if you want to see it. But he's kept in prison, right, from the first movie. And then she's like, oh, I never visited him, but time to break him out. I'm like, you never visited your own son?
I don't think anybody gets visitors there.
Like, come on. But then the way she talked about it was just like, it felt more like nonchalant until they kind of, reunited. And then they were like, I love you both. You're both my sons. And I'm like, this would be good if I felt like, the seeds have been planted for me to care about, like, the relationships. I can dig between the lines a lot, and I think I can and do. But
with all the flashback scenes they had in the first movie, they probably should have had a scene between Orm and his mom.
That's right, and I mentioned it during our commentary right at the end. There, he's like doing all this, and I'm like, I'm inferring throughout the movie because I hadn't seen Aquaman 1 in a long time. I'm like, oh, he's getting a lot of stuff. The way he hates Arthur and hates his mom, he gets that from his dad, who we've never seen. But we can assume his dad like hated Arthur, or not hated Arthur, but just like
the circus.
to disparage the surface and Arthur, etc. So all the lies that Orm was told about, like Arthur's going to steal my kingdom, all it was fed from his father. That's revealed at the end of Aquaman 1. And then in this movie, too, they kind of reference it again where he's like, I never wanted the kingdom. You should have had it. He's like, oh, really? He's like, but my father told me all these stuff. Like, yeah, because our father lied to you, dude. I didn't really want to be here. And that the idea of Arthur, like, not wanting to be king was also a pretty decent theme of the movie. So I didn't hate the movie. It had some fun action sequences. What I did hate was the whole mind control shit with Black Manta. And
here's the thing, and I'm with you, but here's the thing: is I'm watching the movie and I'm like, okay, so they're setting it up because the same thing happens to Orm in the climax. Is like, okay, so it's like it like brings out your worst nature, and there's like a possession element to it, but then there's that final scene with Black Manta where he's hanging on and he's still petty as fuck, and it's like as if there's no difference, and I'm like, man, they really butchered Manta.
Butchered Manta.
I can't remember
badly.
We were doing our commentary, and I'm revisiting. I'm like, man, this is how Manta was. I'm like, oh, it's all I'm going. And I'm watching the trailers for the second movie, and I'm like, hey, it looks fucking cool. I'm excited to get in. And I'm watching. I'm like, he's just so evil for no reason.
Hopefully this isn't a time blazer, but I hate possession storylines. They hardly do it for me in media, unless it's like a horror film. It matters the amount of time someone is possessed. Manta was possessed from beginning scene to end scene, basically, in this movie. So, the thing I hate about possession storylines is that you hardly get a lot of good character work, character development. In this one, we didn't see a character growth from Manta, towards the bad side or towards the good or anything like that. Nothing interesting or compelling about Manta, except that I'm talking to this dude in the mirror and the other guy, Daniel, whatever his name is. He thinks I'm weird. It was just not for me. Some possession storylines I like when you can get like the internal stuff, like, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. Stop doing this. That kind of like some internal stuff I really like. But in this case, didn't really work out for me. His storyline,
like what we're cooking in time.
Cool. The antagonistic storyline just felt either tonal shifty. Like it was either goofy when the Asian guy was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to be here anymore. Oh, and then it was like kind of menacing. I couldn't tell what it wanted to be. That was kind of the whole movie in general. A big tonal shift of a movie.
There was a lot of injection of the humor in places where I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey,
there's that. Sorry, you go. There's that one moment towards the end where Orm was supposed to save Dolph Lundgren's character, and then he looks at him, and then goes away, and then is he gonna be bad? And
I'm sitting here, and I'm just like,
yeah, me too. I'm
coming back.
He's coming back, and then the last second, I got you.
It feels so weird because I'm just like, you're not just gonna toss out his character work now.
Yeah, right. I was like, okay, just
not Black Manta.
Yeah,
he's white.
Oh wow! No shoot, he's white.
Also, it's kind of funny that looking at Patrick Wilson in this movie, I'm like, damn, you look like the traditional Aquaman. It's so uncanny. Yeah,
he could. Yeah, I wonder if it's a Loki thing where he auditioned to be Aquaman and got the brother.
Put him in the DCU.
I agree. Well, that'd be so funny if James cast him as Aquaman in the DCU, and Jason Momoa as Lobo. Anyways, Holdovers though, fantastic. Just a heartwarming, beautiful movie that I cannot wait to buy on Blu-ray and watch it every single holiday season. It's just one of those comfortable movies with a lot of depth that grows for all of the characters intermittently through their discussions, through their just witty remarks about each other. You learn a lot about these characters, for the good and the bad, and the awkward and the good. The Boston scenes were fantastic. Some of the best scenes of the year for me. And Dominic Sessa as the main college student was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, phenomenal time. I think I saw something. I'm looking into it right now. I was on Peacock the other day, and I think The Holdovers is on Peacock currently.
I totally forgot about that. You're right. I think it is. Yeah. It
But
is a
no,
universal. It's a universal film.
and at one point I was like, "Oh shit, cool!" And then the other millisecond thought I had was like, "Oh fuck, I could have probably saw a different movie in my slot."
But you went to the theater like a good citizen.
You're right. I contributed. It was wonderful, dude. I was watching. I was like, "This is an instant holiday classic. I'm gonna watch this yearly for sure." This is a comfy movie. It's weird because like at one point I thought the movie was going to end, and then we kept going, and I'm happy it kept going. It did not overstay its welcome. I was just like, "You're just building the characters even more, and you're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry, movie."
The last scene with Paul Giamatti in the office. I won't say anything, but it's one of the best scenes of the year where he's just when he's talking to a principal about something, and it was Anyways, it was great. I loved so much about this. Divine Jordan Randolph as the cook, the kitchen woman. She was incredible as well. I loved everybody in this movie. I think everybody was like perfectly cast. Just felt so natural and real. Like I loved this.
Yeah, I adored it.
And then you saw what was the middle one? Wonka.
Wonka, yeah.
Absolute banger of a musical.
A delight. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I loved it. I teared up multiple times.
Oh yeah. Towards the end, there was a scene that goes full circle with, I'll just say, his mother character. That made me tear up as well. Or get emotional. I didn't tear up. I'm lying. But
I know
it was yeah. It was just a great movie. I said this on like Royal Heartbreak Feels Good, but I think the musical numbers here worked better for me than a movie like Color Purple did. Even though I did like the Color Purple, I think Wonka's music was just more memorable to me, and like Scrub rocks. There's a villain song with all three of the villains of the movie that really worked for me too. It was just like they had some great musical numbers that fit the movie, and then the surprising thing again was like the relationship between Wonka and his mom was a surprising factor that really added a lot of heart and depth to the movie. But yeah, it's just like utterly delightful. It's delightful. It's charming. It's whimsical. It's a feel-good movie. it does everything right. If people are like, "Oh, it's too goofy," I'm like, "That's the point." Like, yeah, I loved it.
It's Wonka.
Yeah,
but also, yeah, I really liked how much it trusted itself to do so much creatively on its own that didn't super rely on referencing build up to the original. It obviously it has that, but most of the stuff is just like a lot of the candy designs, they're all original stuff, original ingredients thrown in, like original ideas, original song. Like they do a wonderful version of Pure Imagination, but that's not till the very end when they're like setting up where Wonka's going in his future. And I will say it's spoiled part because it was lovely. Like the chocolate bar his mom made that he opens up, and it has the essence of a golden ticket, but it's a special message from her. And that's just like, that's so heartfelt to like think back to the original. Like his whole idea of this golden ticket idea is a little thing from his mom. It's very lovely.
I didn't even think about that, actually, not gonna lie. I'm an idiot. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
My man. The most iconic thing of Wonka.
I don't think that's a very cute scene for his mom. But yeah, you're right. Maybe I should see Wonka again when it comes on HBO Max or something. But yeah, I loved the movie. It was great. The girl who played like his best friend in the movie was really good too. It was one of her first roles. I thought she was magical. And yeah, like the only real connection to the movie was like you see it in the trailers. Like we're gonna need a factory, Wonka. Like some of those small stuff at the very end really connected to the other stuff, but this one is wholly original. So good stuff. Would it be original screenplay or adapted screenplay? Ask the question. No.
Oh well. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not on your side in chat on this one.
I know. Not a lot of people are. I just think she created an original story.
Which movie you think we're talking about? Comment below.
I know, right? Yeah. But yes, let's dive into a lot of stuff we got to talk about today. Let's start off with Monarch. So I don't forget about Monarch. I remember Percy Jackson like the back of my hand, so I'm good. But let's talk about.
I just finished
Monarch.
Percy Jackson like an hour ago.
Oh wow, it was kind of reverse. I saw Monarch yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. Didn't take any notes, but off the cuff. Pretty much, spoilers for Monarch episode 9. No idea what the title is. But yeah, Monarch, I tweeted this out. I was like, this is more so Monarch Legacy of Sadness. Because this episode, a lot of the emotional arcs were laid bare to the audience and the characters themselves in terms of like how the past pretty much fucked up and emotionally scarred a lot of these characters, in particular Hero, but also Hero is a product of what happened to Lee, a product of what happened to Billy. And then that affects, of course, their families in Kate and Kentaro, especially. Kentaro, who's finally might be on the up in terms of my appreciation of his character. He had a fantastic scene at the end of this episode between him and his encounter with Hiroshi, his father. And pretty much exactly what I thought. I think both of us thought towards the end of last week. You separate both characters so that Kentaro could finally have a heart-to-heart with his father, which we kind of did. It was more so, you suck, Dad, which he's right. You do suck, Hero. But at the same time,
it was devastating.
Wow, that scene was devastating. Yeah, I was like,
on both sides. Like we had already gone through the heartbreak with Kentaro.
Yeah.
And then when his dad's like, no, you're just trying to hurt me. Like, say it isn't true. Say it. Oh God. He's just wailing. Like,
and I'm waiting for him to say like, well, like they didn't die. They're telling me they died.
No, Kentaro doubled down. He's like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
If you didn't do this, you wouldn't be in my life. You did this. It's just
exactly.
Ouch.
Ultimate ouch. But I think 5 minutes into episode 10, the finale, Kentaro's gonna be like, listen, Dad.
Do you think he's gonna explain to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you explain it?
I mean, all he's going to say is, like, they fell into this rift that we found, and then Hero's going to be like, what'd you say? Say that again, son? And then it's like, oh, this happened with Lee. He appeared later because a portal opened up and he came out of it. And I think Hero we have the technology. He has the technology, he has the means to pull them out. Given everything the Hero's been through over the past 50 years. So 40 years. So I think, again, like I said last week, the storyline has given us opportunities for Hiroshi and Kentaro to find a way to save Kate, Shaw, and May. And
now,
what else here?
Kay.
And now Kay, which you were right, Nathan. I'll give you your flowers. Holy shit.
So it was funny because I watched this episode and we're on 9 out of 10, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, she might be dead. I was losing hope. I was like, we've taken a while.
I was the opposite. Actually.
We keep doing this, but
we keep changing our opinions. Yeah,
we keep flipping, and then I get proven. But like this was, I cheered. I cheered because I was like, let's go, and it's really interesting that she's like mostly the same age
and healed mostly. I mean, it's been a long time, or I don't know how long it's been for her, but yeah,
3 weeks down there.
3 weeks
in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Eric. But when we got the previously on Monarch and we see Kay dying, I'm like, is Nathan right? Are we seeing Kay again? And
that's funny because at this point for me, like I see the previously on, I'm like, I know. I got so much I watch this.
I always watch the previously on just to make sure. I'm like, okay, so here's who we're seeing in the episode, etc.
I do. I do need those sometimes.
But yeah, so I'm like, okay, Kate might be alive. But then the more we talked about it and we saw Lee's flashback, I'm like, she got taken by like 20,000 beetles. How is she alive here? But I guess they just pulled her and she like pushed and scrambled and then fell through the portal. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. This show is messy. I was also people online really not liking the show for me, or on Twitter. And I'm like, I couldn't disagree more. Like this show is, especially because I'm talking it over with you every week. It's a very messy show. And we talked about this, Kate would say, fuck you, May. Next episode, I love you, May. And then characters would say certain dumb things. This show is messy. It's not the tightest show in the world. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. The characters are fun to watch. The trios in the past, trios in the present are interesting enough, fun enough to watch, and I like the themes and the connections, especially in this episode, that we're getting from this series, and it's very interesting. Combine that with great monster effects, crazy horror moments at times. I'm having a blast with this show. It's a very fun, easy show to watch. But yeah, and in this episode especially, the emotions are really good. Starting off with Lee here, I thought Wyatt Russell was fantastic in this episode.
Yeah, he got to kind of have a Captain America moment.
For sure. I guess I missed that dance.
The irony here.
We'll talk about What If too. Cap was kind of like pretty much a good emotional hook for Carter's character this season in What If season 2.
Yeah, I thought we had some words about What If.
Oh boy,
that wasn't a negative connotation.
That was a huge negative connotation. Nobody says I got words in a positive way. I got words to say about this guy.
I got words on something. Back to Monarch. We're in the Hollow Earth.
I do have words to say about What If too, by the way. Anyways, not in a positive connotation. But
all right, I'll probably we'll probably give our thoughts, quick thoughts in individual episodes.
For sure. But yeah, Lee, this whole time thing, I didn't know how they were going to explain his age. I thought they were going to be like, well, the effects of the world slowed his aging process, which kind of was true. But him missing 20 years, that was
because he wasn't down there long. He was like under a day. He was down there
under a day. So I'm like, how? I really hope because it works in the past because we have Lee in the present with Wyatt or Kurt Russell already. I expect the show not to do this in terms of like May, Kate, and them get back and just be like another 20 years, and the show is like completely different in season 2 or whatever. I don't want Kentaro to be like 50 by the time they see each other again. I hope they don't do that. I could see them doing that. I don't think they will do that. I think Kentaro as an actor is like pretty solid. I don't want them to lose that kind of stuff. And actually, I'm crazy. I'm done. Scratch everything I just said. They're not doing that because if they go 20 years later, that's 20 years beyond the movies, and I don't think they want to do that. Given what I've been saying about the theme of the show and like connecting old Monarch, making it better to what we get in Godzilla versus Kong and what we get in this year in Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be fine. It's going to be a few weeks later.
Yeah, I think it's I think it all comes down to balls in the court of the surface world, because like they received a like some sort of message from Lee down there through like the gamma coding. Like he sent some sort of signal somehow, whatever he's banging on down there.
That was weird to me. Was that from Lee?
I think so. Yeah, I mean he'd been down there before, so I imagine
we saw him Kate dodging lightning, and next thing we get is like this girl. I found the signal. What did you find? I didn't see anything in the past. Which lost.
By the way, that scene is like comes in with like some harsh, upbeat music right after the scene with Kentaro and his mom.
I'm so glad you're thinking the same thing. That was a horrible music choice.
I was like, this is so fucking weird. And I know it's like to this specific character, but I'm like, he didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to do that.
Also, why do we keep making like weird side characters in this universe? I don't need to. Tim's gotten better.
What?
I think Tim's gotten way better.
Oh yeah, Tim is stocks are skyrocketing. Yeah, I think Tim's a great character.
As soon as he listed all those mangas for you, I think he became your favorite.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, he knows all the manga. Great guy. But yeah, I was like, that was such a weird editing choice. Which again, this show is messy. But yeah, I was like, all these people that work on Monarch are very eccentric characters. Like stop it. But yeah, Tim is great. But yeah, go back to Lee. The fact that we cut to beginning this episode with him and Billy basically being these parental figures to Hiro in the past, which I think was a very informative and necessary scene, especially given what we've seen towards the end with like grown-up Hiro. Like, man, the character work with Hiroshi was phenomenal in this episode in terms of really understanding his character. I still think there's a gap we're missing, and I'll get back to Lee in a second. But there's a gap we're missing in terms of Hero. He says like, I don't want to do this Monarch thing anymore. Sorry, Lee. But then I still don't get character-wise what compelled him to have two mystery families, and then just totally ignore his families. You weren't supposed to see Kate. I'm like, wait, what? Like, he told Kentaro that, like, you guys weren't supposed to meet each other or something like that. I'm like, okay, why? It's weird. The only thing, and Jalen brought this up, was that like Hiroshi never had a good example of what a good family is. All his parents died. So he never had the experience of what a good, proper family should look like. He never understood the emotional connections that come with the proper family relationship. So he kind of treated his family like he was treated, ignored him basically. Like, unfortunately, mom dies, Lee dies, Billy dies, for real. So that was really unfortunate for Hero, and that kind of can, tie into why he does that with the family, but I still don't know, like, from his perspective, why he did it. That's just me inferring based off of what we've got. But in the beginning here, I love seeing like the aftermath of Kate's death, which we haven't seen. This whole season, we've gone through like beginning, Kay dies. Everywhere else, we're getting to see Kay, Lee, and Billy trio shit. But now Kay's dead, and Billy and Lee are kind of like, we'll be back. Like, this is going to be cool. Operation Hourglass, and they hyped the fuck out of this, and it turned into a horror show with the quickness.
There's a lot of horror elements in this episode that are really good.
Oh my god, we'll get to the Kate moment, dude. Chills. I was like, stop it, I'm dead. I'm like, I'd have been like seppuku. Like, I'd have been like, just kill me now. I'm not taking it.
I was thinking about with like Lee's crew when they went down there and they're like caught like in mid electrocution.
Yeah. What a great presentation of their deaths too. Like, they could have done it where it's just like all fast paced, but slowing it down, giving us the Zack Snyder treatment of all their deaths. Yeah. Really cool, stylish, and horrifying at the same time. But yeah, like Operation Hourglass goes to hell, and Billy, the first thing that comes to my mind, I'm like, I just lost my other friend again. Like, days or weeks after Kay's death, he loses his best friend, his brother in this world, in Lee. And that's the last time they see each other.
Yeah, and he's talking to the general, and
Puckett.
Yeah, Puckett, and he's like, that little boy, he lost a father. He's like, don't make him lose another one, something along those lines. And I'm like, oh,
that Puckett's best line?
Possibly, and it's all the more tragic because he dies on Skull Island.
He dies to what does he die to? A scorpion thing? A little bug thing?
I think he gets eaten by a skull crawler.
Skullcrawler, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. I told Jalen, like, he was like, what happens to Billy? Like, is the show going to tell us? I'm like, I think, did the show expect us to have watched Godzilla versus Kong?
Well,
or, Kong
Skull
Island.
Probably, it connects to
even how, yeah, you're right. And even if I watch, I watched all these things, but even then I always forget, like, that's supposed to be John Goodman. It doesn't really.
John Goodman is the first scene of the series.
True. And I think but I think it should be referenced again. Maybe I'm just thinking the audience are stupid, like I am.
I remember watching Kong, and I was like, "Oh, why'd they kill John Goodman?"
Yeah, me too. I think they really wish they could have kept him alive now.
Yeah, now. Oh my god! Imagine the show came out like right after the first movie.
Yeah, I think that would have changed a lot. But yeah, man, it was so tragic for Billy to lose all that stuff. You can see why he became quickly obsessed and became the character that we see in Skull Island. Somebody willing to lie to a bunch of people to get them on the island, and kind of was a fanatical character on Skull Island, but with a lot of knowledge. And he wasn't an awful person. He was just very, again, fanatical.
Yeah.
And obsessed. And it's just interesting looking back at that character and seeing like all the relationships he had. Like, he had a son back there. I'm like, the way you're acting didn't sound like you have a son in 2017's Godzilla or Kong. I'm like, because you should be prioritizing your safety above all else. But anyways, Hero like loses Billy, loses Lee, loses Kay, and he says when he gets back in the present, to a still young Wyatt Russell, Lee, he says like I had to bury 3 boxes, or I had a more 3 boxes with no bodies, basically, besides
3 empty boxes. Yeah.
3 empty boxes. It was very like heartbreaking. It really opens your eyes to Hiro's childhood without us even seeing it outside of the first scene in this episode. We didn't see all those years, but we can kind of feel it and experience it because of all the characters that we've come to know in terms of Lee, Billy, and Kay. It's like it's so tragic. I'm like, oh my god! And a lot of the great scenes. What?
I remember, like, he left him his knife at the beginning, which I presume is the one he always whittles the pencils with.
Oh, good point. Good point. I didn't even connect that. Yeah. Yeah, and Hiro in general was a very like you can see why he's so like dismissive of Monarch, but maybe you can help connect the lines here. He's so dismissive. He tells Lee like, I'm not going back to do this. Like, because Lee, and man, so many great stuff here. First off, let me backpedal a little bit. Lee, kidnapping the nurse and all that kind of stuff. It was very riveting material here as Lee's trying to figure out what the hell has happened to him.
That nurse being Kentaro's mom.
I figured. Was that revealed officially, or is that a?
Well, yeah, it's the same actress.
Same actress. Okay, I can. I was like, that's one of the moms. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you had a sweet moment with her after.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't tell. Because he has another wife too in San Francisco, so I was like, is that Kate's mom or is this Kentaro's mom?
At this point, I forget who's born first. I think Kate is.
Maybe. I think Kate's older.
I thought Kentaro was older, but one of the episodes, like, they literally brought that up.
Like little brother kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which makes it all the more weirder that the first wife that we come across is Kentaro's mom. But I guess because she was in the episode, it connects, like you said.
Yeah. It's very emotionally vulnerable this month.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, at that point, I know he's against the whole idea of Monarch. Like, he doesn't want to, like, be a part of this. I think he even brought up, like, we were coexisting fine until you guys were constantly chasing them and, like, bringing them out.
Which is a good point, but also, like, it goes into the inevitability, I think, which was always Kay's thing.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, like, they've always been here. Let's take this opportunity to study this and, become more knowledgeable about this because this is the world that we're living in. But you can also understand Hiroshi, given, the sacrifices that he had to endure.
Yeah.
You can understand his opinion of just leave it alone, laissez-faire, hands off. Let's see what happens here. And let them fight. Yeah. But where do you think he goes from here? He leaves Shaw. And we'll get to Shaw in a second, but like Hiroshi then becomes an obsessive person who ditches both his families and goes on this Monarch trail even before the season starts, even before the movie start. And I'm kind of thinking, what changes? What makes him say, like, I'm not helping you, Shaw, to I need to obsess myself over Monarch and these monsters so that I don't know. I still don't know.
It's a good question because
that's my biggest question.
The only thing I could see being the catalyst of him throwing himself back into the world of Monarch and stuff would be the events of Godzilla 2014. Just like they're coming up unprovoked anyway, so it's like, let's see if I can find a way to lure them around, which is why he was doing the thing with Godzilla. But apparently that was the thing that went wrong, as revealed in this episode for him. So I don't entirely know. I guess we'll find out next week.
I hope so. And I assumed as well. I was like, maybe it's a 2014 thing. But even then, it's like, even prior to 2014, she was like, and the mom mentioned this a couple episodes ago, like, I had a feeling he was cheating on me. He was living 2 different lives. I didn't know what was going on. Like, he was doing all this stuff for their entire lives. Even Kentaro, how many times can Kentaro and Kate say, like, you were never there for us? You never played catch with me, Dad. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But it's like he was just never really there for them, which again goes back to his family thing about not having a family, and that's what really scarred him. But I'm hoping Hiroshi, when we get a bigger heart-to-heart scene between him and Kentaro, a continuation of that he dives into like, what really went down with his character in the times between. But great stuff, great character work from the Hiroshi actor, who we've seen sparingly, but this was our first real encounter, and he was going bar for bar with Wyatt Russell, and I loved every second of it. It was really good work between both of them.
Really
but yeah, dude, the transition. So Lee, as a character, we're always like, okay, this is a guy doing good things or good reasons, bad execution. We talked a lot about that last week. And, I still don't think pressing the bomb in the middle of the cave. The coast is clear, guys. No, it's not. We'll wait till you're outside and then throw the bomb up. But anyways, that's just my thing. But anyways, Lee here, seeing his whole traumatic experience. You already mentioned the horror of Operation Hourglass. It's like, Billy. And like, can you hear us as the thing starts crushing down upon themselves? Like, wow. As a claustrophobic guy, I was like, I would have been, just kill me now.
Too.
Man,
Yeah.
I've been fucked. But then, like you said, the whole lightning strike, getting there, his crew is wiped out through the nature, through the monsters themselves. That monster creature that shows up for like a split second in that one frame that comes to terrorize their camp.
Yeah.
Huge and terrifying. That was a really cool shot. It looked like concept art, but it was a really cool shot as well.
It looked like a bat type creature in the face.
It was really creepy. So yeah, then he comes back, Captain America style, and you really get informed on his character in terms of somebody who's so devoted to Case still, but at the same time, how do I phrase it? He wants to continue his work. He's like, okay, Hiroshi, we can do all this, and this, because he still has the energy, that drive to continue Monarch, to honor Kay's legacy and Billy's legacy, and just continue on there. Like for me, I'm thinking like it can't all be for nothing. Like I survived all this, it can't all be for nothing. And Hiroshi tells him, give it up, dude. Like you're now in 1982 now. Just give it up. And we get a really great scene by him going to the retirement home. Imagine you're just like Wyatt Russell's age, what, 30 to 40, 30 whatever.
Latest, I feel.
Sent to a retirement home, dial up the clock, and you're just, damn. Like what?
You might as well just left me down there, man. Like,
right? Like,
it's no way to live.
Not at all. And that's exactly the point, Nathan. It's like it's no way to live, and you can see why he was so energized when Kay and Kentaro initially found him in episode 2 or episode 1, whenever it was. And to be like, okay, now this is my chance. This is my chance to honor their legacy. This is my chance to make an impact again. Unfortunately, it landed him right back in Hollow Earth. And the Hollow Earth scenes in this episode were amazing. Really cool. They're filming in, it looked like Canada. You can tell when a lot of these shows, like, oh, this is, where do they always film in Canada?
Vancouver?
Vancouver. Like, yeah, this is probably Vancouver. Probably.
But it looks cool. Tangible trees here.
Yeah. But it looks cool. And interesting enough, we don't get Kate off the bat. I was like, why are we not seeing Kate? But we'll get to that. But like, the May and Lee dynamic was an interesting one. May very much worried about Kate. The lightning strikes was very fun. It reminded me of the Maze Runner, the second book in Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials. One of the opening sequences is the boys from the maze having to get into this facility at the beginning of the book / movie, and like lightning strikes the desert, and they have to dodge the lightning, and it's a really cool sequence in Scorch Trials. And that kind of reminded me of this too, where it's just like a lot of energy is still there from the portal and just trying to kill them. But it was a great survival part of the episode. I really liked it.
Oh yeah, I felt like it was like a video game, like dodging the.
Yeah. Press triangle. Triangle.
Now there was an interesting thing that I was posed a question to myself while watching, which was like the idea of the whole time dilation while being in Hollow Earth, which was not present in Godzilla versus Kong.
You're right. Yeah, it's new.
So knowing me, making my own canon.
Please do. I'm very interested to hear this.
I imagine because their whole idea, the way they get into Hollow Earth, is they piggyback off the trail of the kaiju going in like immediately after. And
It was interesting. I really did. Sorry to interrupt. I did like that moment when Puckett was explaining this, and he's like, "Yeah, we get the monsters, we bait them, and then we drop the bait, and then it goes right back down. But then we follow them down too, which was really cool. I thought for a second there, I was like, are they gonna get swallowed by the beast and go down? Were you thinking the same thing? I'm like, how did they get down there?
I
Are
was
they
thinking
get
that.
swallowed?
I was thinking that. I think they explained it pretty well that we would just be like tailing them.
Yeah, but before he said that tailing part, I was like, and I should let Puckett explain, but yeah, I was like, are they just gonna get swallowed and then just travel down in a monster's belly and then that's it? But anyways, no, Puckett then says, yeah, he's like, okay, we'll just trace him back.
Which I thought was a compelling explanation of how they were able to get down there in like the 60s, because we needed like future tech, the heaves, they're called, the vehicles that they drive in Godzilla Kong. Which they needed that to like, you know, handle like inversion and shit, because people get like fucking crushed and whatnot. So what my headcanon is currently is the heaves offer a better protection in traversal, that like it doesn't affect the body in the time dilation, but you know, if the less technologically advanced stuff from like the 60s and like the present day of 2015 of just like free falling through that shit in the trail of the kaiju may have some sort of effect biologically while you're down there. I don't know. I don't even know if that would make sense necessarily, but
it kind of does. In both instances, are going down there with less than optimal protection. I guess the rays, basically the rays of Hollow Earth.
right.
And I think, like you're saying, the technology in 2019, in 2019 Godzilla, they're able to not 2019, whenever got GVK, the heaves, the 2021, the heaves are able to protect them against those initial rays, and when they get down there, even though again they can just put on their t-shirts or whatever once they get down there, by then the traversal didn't affect their age process. So I think it's all about the traversal. How did they traverse there? If they did it safely, no age regression. If they didn't do it safely, as in 60s where it messed up halfway through, where it got broken up, again, those rays seep in, and I guess that might have affected it. That's just our guess. But yeah, it's a good guess. It's a good guess. That's our only thing we can guess and assume here. The show is creating its own lore and changing things up.
Yeah,
I like it though. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's very compelling. It's just funny because if you watch Godzilla vs Kong again, it's like it doesn't seem like they're down there for more than a day. But by this show's logic, if you're there for more than a day, you're probably been Mechagodzilla's probably already attacked by now.
Yeah, the world is done. It's been a decade. So, because again, Shaw's experience seemed like he was there for less than a day.
Yeah,
he made it seem like boom, boom, and I'm like, Kate, Lee, and May have been there for an equal amount of time. I'm so worried. But again, I think I think they're going to be fine in the finale. Which I think the finale is going to give us a good kaiju battle. It's going to give us a good
we still got
scene.
Godzilla versus the flying creature coming.
Yeah,
they teased mid-season, and I was like, I'll watch it if it's about to come out, and it hasn't.
It hasn't. I'm like, oh fuck. We got Disney Plus.
That's true.
But yeah, let's break down your. So yeah, I love again the Lee transition stuff was amazing. I paused it too because I was like, are these the two? Are they the same two actors to the left and right of Lee, with just additional makeup? Because when he transitions, he's talking to like two random dudes, and then when it comes to Kurt Russell, they're all old. I'm like, are those the two same actors? I couldn't tell. Even.
I thought the actor on the left side moved to the right and was older. That's what I thought I saw.
Could have been, but it was funny. It was very cool, and again, very just sad to look at what happened with Lee.
They keep giving him medicine, which is like, you didn't need that. You're just making him numb, aren't you?
Yeah, you're just drugging the guy. Like fuck.
It's fucked up. Like you already got like the ankle bracelet shit on him. Like why are we doing this?
For real. Like wow, that was just a great reveal. Great compelling character stuff from Lee and Hero this episode.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're looking for Kate. We see Kate, and she's face to face with this horrific, disgusting
Let me just
creature.
say, awful moment. She's like the monster like breathed and her mouth was open. And I was like, oh no.
Close your mouth.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, it was not good. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. I was not ready for that. And then like it walks away, then it comes around the tree. Whoever thought of that, fuck you. Fuck you. I thought it was over, and then it comes around. I'm just like, I'm dead. Like, dude. And then she can't do anything besides just crawl away because she's still delirious and weak. Like, holy shit, what a sequence there. But wow. Kay is back.
Yeah.
Arrows the beast in one hit, one KO. And she hasn't aged a day.
No.
Nathan, here's the question for these characters that return who we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yes, I think she comes back.
Okay.
Which will be interesting because it's just like
I'm like, is she dead? She could easily just die in the finale, protecting her daughter.
I don't think they would draw this fate out that long.
You don't think
that?
so?
No.
Some of these characters you never see. Like, it's been so long, and you go back to the world. I'll leave the opening for you guys. It was great being your mother. Bye.
I can maybe see Lee doing that. Sacrificing himself so that she can get out because he's already
season 2. We get like Kate and Kate stuff.
Which would be interesting because they're like the same age. But then also Kay's son is older than her probably at this point.
Kay's son, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Hero. I think Hero's definitely. Oh man, there's some cool stuff we can get in season 2. I already talked about how I think the crew is definitely going to be working closer to Monarch. There's Apex still to be teased. Yeah. But then the whole character-wise, like I would love to see how Kay interacts with the outside world, a la Captain America, but also to Hero, who her son, who she hadn't seen in. So we could get that in finale, and I would love that. Like I want to see Hero with his mom again. And then Hero with like Kate and Kentaro, because he's been absent this entire season. The season has been about looking for him, but we just got him and Kentaro. I want to see him and Kate. Yeah. But then also, yeah, it's just so many interesting stuff here to get. Like, man. And then if you get a Lee and Kay reunion next week, which we probably will. Mm-hmm. I think that's happening, right? For sure. That's just gonna be so interesting. But man, Kay's back. Kay and Kate. Man, that's gonna be so much fun. Hey, mom? Nope, not mom. Grandma. Like weird.
Which will also be interesting because at this point, Kate knows what her grandma looks like. She does. Yeah, because they saw a picture of her. Kay doesn't know. Well, Kay left when her son was a child, so like she wouldn't know she has a granddaughter, or about the time dilation probably at all.
She doesn't know about the time dilation at all. Yeah, that would be
a compelling bombshell.
That's gonna be a big bombshell. Like we know how Lee handled it, passing out. Like I would too. Like if somebody told me, "Hey, Evan, it's been 20 years and I hadn't seen Jalen or my friends in 20 years," how many movies did I miss? No, I'm kidding. But like,
my brain does that. My brain does that. I was like, man, if I did like one of these like isolation challenges, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm missing all this movie news.
Yeah, people are like, Evan, you should go on Big Brother. Like Big Brother's like at least 80 to 90 days. Like, I can deal 2 to 3 months, but still, a lot of movie news happens by the day. So you never know.
You walk out of Big Brother and you're just like, all right, Jonathan Majors up to. What's the next Kang project, baby?
Let's go, Evan. We got words. Have you seen the Good Morning America interview, Evan? It's like, oh no, I have not. I have not.
I saw the promo for that. All I could think of was the fucking R. Kelly interview. Yeah, fighting for my fucking life.
It was. If nobody has seen the promo, I mean, the full interview is out there. But if you have not, yeah. It was on Monday. Good Morning America. It's if you watch the promo, it's the same shit. But like the promo was peak comedy. I hadn't laughed that hard in a very long time. Do you think we'll ever work in Hollywood again?
Didn't they cliffhanger it?
Yeah, he's like, he looks at the camera. And then in the full interview, he's like, I hope I do. And I hope people think I do. Or I hope people hope I do too. Something like that. I hope people think the same way. It was just...
What's your verdict?
The pauses, he'll be back. The pauses, the crying, it was amazing. It was a work of theater. But yeah, you know,
he is a good actor.
He'll be back in 20 years.
That's the scary part of these, right? Is just like they're good actors. It's like,
it was so weird. He's a good actor. This is Good Morning America on ABC, owned by Disney.
That is interesting, actually.
It's so weird. It's like they fired his ass, but at the same time, let's shovel this interview out there real quick. What are they gaining? What are we gaining? Nothing besides comedy. It's weird. It's funny. Yeah, I would. It's, if you guys want to laugh, it's one of the funnier things. Both the promo and the interview. But anyways, yeah. Theories for next week. I'm so excited to see how Kay handles the time dilation news.
Yeah.
Kate's reaction, Kay's reaction, Lee and Kay's reunion. How in the world do they get back? I think it has to do with Kintaro's, monster ball whistle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's going to be the way to lure the enemy back. But how do you open up a portal?
You may just have to
you might just go to a portal because he has a map of all the portals.
Yeah, you may have to just chart the readings of what the next. Well, the portals are activated by the approach of a kaiju. So by calling them, because that was the whole experiment in the '60s. So just by doing that, we just show up to one. That should do the trick.
That should do the trick.
And we use G-Man to get it done.
Oh, and are they in? Kintaro and Hiroshi are in Tokyo. They talked about Lee coming out in Tokyo. He comes out in the forest, and Hiroshi's like, "You came out in this one forested area of Tokyo." So yeah, I think they go back to that area probably, and let's run it again, and hopefully time relation doesn't fuck them up.
Sure.
But wow, not much else to say there besides just what a great episode, and I cannot wait to see how the finale concludes. But yeah, let's jump into Percy Jackson. Shorter episode is kind of my biggest bummer of the episode. It was just that it was short. Because
aren't you getting 12 episodes?
No,
are you not?
No, we're getting 8.
Are they misinformed?
Yeah. Operator, what? I think there's only 8 episodes, which we reached our halfway point. I think we might be done by the end of the year or by the end of the month. No, sorry. But so yeah, Percy Jackson episode 4, we get the St. Louis episode. It's one of my favorite parts of the book, which I just reread.
Was this in the movie? I don't remember.
The St. Louis Arch.
Yeah, maybe not didn't they drive through real quick or something?
It might have not been the movie because I would have at least remembered it somewhere in the back recesses of my mind. I can't recall it.
Something in my brain remembered St. Louis. Probably, I know I read the book, but I'm just I don't know if I remember the whole scene of St. Louis.
Let me see. St. Louis movie. St. Louis, Percy Jackson movie. Yeah, it's just showing up Disney Plus shit. I can't even. I put the word movie in there and still nothing. So yeah, maybe they just walked by it. I can't tell. Oh, maybe it's on TikTok. No, fuck it. Doesn't matter. But this was a great part. Oh, excuse me. I did like the theme in this episode, which really dived into once I get to it. Did I bookmark my review? No, I didn't because I'm an idiot. But I think one of the main themes of this episode kind of continues what we got in last week's episode. Remember, I said for the theme of this show, Percy Jackson is going to be how he relates to the feelings of parenthood in terms of the gods, as well as what he thinks of like his friends, his friendships, and how his connections with his friends are different from his connections and his mother Sally, and how they're different from the relationships between him and the gods. And while this episode was short, I did love the full circle moment we got between Percy and Sally at the beginning of this episode. He's afraid to swim. He's a god of, demigod of the sea. He's afraid to swim. His mom was telling him just to breathe, have confidence in himself.
Like, get in the fucking water. I paid for this class.
Yeah, like I paid for this shit. Mom, this isn't free. I paid for this. Get in there.
He was like, just breathe. Get your ass in the water.
Yeah, I remember my swimming lessons. Apparently, I was really good, back in the day.
Lessons, eh?
What?
I said lessons, eh?
Yeah. But did you never get swimming lessons? Can you swim?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't go to lessons.
No. You never have swimming lessons?
Practice in the pool. I mean,
they just threw you in the water, said fuck it. Go
no,
naked.
I had like fucking flotation. But like I was like trained to swim. I'm in Florida. I better know how to swim.
You never, yeah. I wonder like which state knows the most how to swim, which state knows the least how to swim. That'd be a fun question to ask. Florida probably has to be up there with they have to know how to swim.
Yeah. Maybe like a colder state.
Yeah, probably like a Dakota, one of the Dakotas. Like it doesn't matter.
I remember I took a side story. I took a trip to Michigan in the summer. It was July, and the water was like fucking freezing. July, and like it was so cold that like I would swim to like a sunspot where the sun was shining, and as soon as I got there, I immediately absorbed the warmth. It got cold again. I was like, "What is? It's July."
And this was where?
In a lake in Michigan.
Yeah,
not specifically Lake Michigan, but
there's high of those. But yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I'm loving the Percy and Sally stuff here and how it relates to the end of the episode where Percy and Sally are just Sally's telling Percy just to breathe, have confidence in himself. And that traces back to episode 3, Medusa's episode, where Grover and them are like, and Annabeth are like, why do you never have faith in yourself? You're always like, can we call the gods, Athena, or whatever? Can they help us out? It's like, what are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of losing here?
I'm a child.
And basically that. And he got told the prophecy of that somebody will betray him. So he's kind of nervous and trepidatious about this journey himself.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, is this some Matrix Oracle shit where it's like, oh, I told you what you needed to hear?
Yeah. Good point. By the way, people, go watch our Matrix commentaries. Those were a blast and a half.
We haven't done Resurrections.
We have not.
Oh, that's another lingering thing.
We prep ourselves with all of these commentaries, especially last year. We did a lot of like prep for X movie. But we never go around to watch it. Did we do F9 already? I think we did.
We did, yeah. We haven't done Fast X.
Oh, yeah, X. I was like, what was the latest F movie?
F this movie.
We did not do F10 yet?
Nope.
Matrix Resurrection. I must say it was just called FX. Okay. Wow. How did we not do Fast 10? That was pretty fun.
It went to Peacock, so
it's on Peacock. So yeah, we'll definitely do it eventually. But yeah, so he has to have more faith in himself, more confidence in himself, and I think that definitely delivers a bit more here, along with some great Percy and Annabeth bonding moments. The beauty of this series is that Rick knows where Percy and Annabeth are going. The audience knows, for the most part, where Percy and Annabeth are going. Even if you've never read or watched Percy Jackson before, you kind of assume Percy's going to get with Annabeth in the future. It's one of those blatant romance tropes we have here. And I'm just loving all the additional lines, additional material that Percy and Annabeth are having that aren't even from the books. I love the talk in the train at the beginning of the episode. Like, are you still awake? She's like, yeah. It's like, oh, this is some cute shit. I head over heels for this, the awkward, just like, well, since you're awake, it's like, well, can we talk about like you know, he was talking to her. I think it was about mostly Talia and how Annabeth has a lot of faith in people like Talia and Luke and see, I say Talia. I've always said Talia. The show Talia Gore, right? Yeah, the best Talia. And not the best mom. But I mean, it depends who you're talking to.
My brain was thinking Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, I'm thinking of the cartoons and comics.
No, that would make sense.
She's a great. I think she's a decent mom to Damien. But anyways, we'll get that's maybe James Gunn will dive into the Talia Bruce dynamic.
Probably. That's the first installment of Batman we're getting.
We're getting Damian Drake in here. Damien's, if people don't know, Damien's mother is Talia al Ghul. His Batman didn't pull out.
It all feels weird. Okay.
What? What is that?
I was saying it feels weird. Just put Pattinson in, man. God damn.
No, keep it separate.
Best Batman we're gonna get. You can't deny it.
He's great. He's fucking fantastic.
And we're gonna fast track old Batman again.
Yeah. I think we will. Yeah. I think, you know, one of these days, we're gonna cover the new casting for Batman.
Oh,
it's gonna be a fun news story.
Yeah, well,
if this podcast survives till then, please sponsor us.
What year is the Batman to come out?
Well, no release date, but one could assume 2026, the year after Legacy.
Well, Matt Reeves does take 4 years to make movies, doesn't he?
Oh wait, no. Oh, you asked when did Batman Part 2 come out, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Brave and the Bold. Matt Reeves Batman is next year, 2025.
Okay.
Oh, same year.
Batman. You know, it'd be good. They were in the same universe. Cross promotion. $1 billion movies for DC.
Even though they are scrapping the Arkham universe that was supposed to be set in Matt Reeves, that Arkham show is now going to be set in the DCU.
That's right.
God of Monsters, which is new. We originally heard that it was an Arkham series set in the Batman universe, but now it's going to be scrapped to make it Arkham set in James Gunn's universe. So, yeah, that was something. Anyway, back to Percy and Annabeth here. Like I said here in my tweet, Percy's perception to the gods and his relationship to his father, and how that contrasts with Annabeth's perception of the gods and her relationship to her family, which we are getting breadcrumbs of, in terms of
in what now?
Like breadcrumbs in terms of Annabeth's past. Well, what do you think I said?
You didn't say breadcrumbs.
I said breadcrumbs.
I heard like bedcrumbs. So I was like,
breadcrumbs. I'm sorry. I'm thirsty as hell. I just had a sandwich and I'm all out of lemonade. I don't want to pause the show and get water or whatever, but
drink lemonade and kick ass. I'm all out of lemonade.
Exactly. And I just made some lemonade, some pink lemonade. Good shit.
Country time.
Country time. You know me very well.
I'm going to your house.
It's cold, Nathan. Don't come over here. It's freezing.
Warm up by the lemonade. Oh, the weather outside.
Nathan has left the podcast. Better joke than Joe Coy, though, actually. Last night at the Golden Globes.
That poor man. I have not seen any footage yet, but oh no.
Poor man!
He seems nice enough. Alden said he seems nice enough.
I think he's a nice guy from what I've heard, of course. Nobody's saying he's an awful guy. You just sucked, dude. You're just bad.
I remember. This is kind of hilarious and topical. Christmas 2018, the guy had a Netflix special, and my brother-in-law insisted this is the funniest motherfucker you've ever heard. And
Joe Coy?
Yeah, and so we're all hanging out, and he goes to put it on. Fucking silence.
That's fucked.
It bombed, and I feel I'm sorry to this man.
Wow.
Holy shit! Now hearing what happened at the club last night, I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, it tracks. It tracks. But like in the books and the show's going for Percy and Annabeth's perception of the gods and her relationship to humans is gonna reverse what Percy's relationship to the gods are and his relationship to humans. Where Percy always has that semblance of a good parenthood between him and Sally, as we see at the beginning of this episode. While Annabeth doesn't really have that. I'm trying to parse what was in the show and what was in the books here. But spoiler, not spoiler, might have just been revealed in the episode that I just can't remember. But Annabeth's talking about how her family, she left her family when she was 7. And she didn't have much time to spend with them. And her father kind of, I remember now because internet was hating Annabeth's father in this episode. Annabeth's father kind of like dismissed her. So again, the episode told us Annabeth is a daughter of Athena, and her father, Athena's children, her demigods, she perceives them as gifts. So she gave Annabeth as a gift to her father. Her father loved Annabeth. However, her father, of course, had to remarry. Her father's stepmother, or her stepmother, his father's new wife, didn't care for Annabeth. Then they had more children after that, and Annabeth felt like a separation. And then that's when she left with Luke, Thalia, and Grover. At the age of 7, she left home because she wasn't feeling at home with her new family. And then that's when, of course, she stays forever at Camp Half-Blood until Percy arrives. And because of that, she didn't have that great of a childhood. We'll see how her interaction with Percy changes her perception of her father, maybe over the course of the show. And we're seeing already how her perception of Athena is changing from both Medusa in the last episode saying she wasn't a nice person here. And then in this episode where they go to the Arch, a safe haven created by followers of Athena in Athena's honor, and they seek safe haven there. But because of the head of Medusa that was cut off by Percy because he was so impertinent in episode 3, Athena did not take too kindly for that. So she lets Echidna, in I think it's Echidna, into the Arch. Basically like, hey, come in, F my daughter. I don't own her, basically. Like it was
Sorry, redemption for these gods, Evan.
What? No, is there redemption for that's a great question. Like these gods are a-holes. Their idea of love is very conditional, which we'll get to the Percy moment at the end of the episode, a Poseidon moment, which was TV original, by the way. But yeah, so Athena thought she was getting safe haven from Athena. She looked up to Athena, but now Athena just screwed them all over. They're like, crap, let's go to the top of this arch and see what we can do here for safe haven. We got to fight it out here. Percy, coming closer and closer to become friends with Annabeth in particular. He already is best friends with Grover. Fantastic moment in the beginning of the episode where he's just like, you've done more for me than any of the gods have throughout this whole mission so far. It was a very sweet moment. And Annabeth's like, careful there, Percy. It sounds like you might be becoming a friend or something like that. It was very
About to call me a friend, yeah.
About to call me a friend. It was a very sweet and Annabeth moment there. It's like, hey, what's happening here?
I heard that line as a writer, and I was like, I don't think that those words fit in this flow.
Yeah, it did sound kind of awkward. But yeah, I mean, these kids are very awkward to each other. A second earlier, Percy was doing a horrible British accent as Athena. As Athena, he was like, is Athena around here? And then he was like, oh, I'm Athena. Just had to go potty.
Oh yeah, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, Athena.
Like,
she was like, is that you, Percy? And he was like, oh yeah. Percy's weird.
I like this cast, I like the show. I'm gonna ignore that.
It was Percy's weird. So they're becoming closer and closer, and I kind of skipped over the train stuff, and I'll get to that at the end here. But we meet Echidna, who appeared from the train. And a decent fight sequence. I wish it was kind of longer. I don't know if it was longer in the book. I think there was more concern over there was more of it was more of a crowded area in the book. In the book, it was more so like, let's get people out of here. There's a dog. even the people, all they see is like a big dog attacking this boy. But in this case, it was kind of an emptier area. And Percy kind of just like ditches them. I liked that sequence. That was again TV original. Because I think in the books, they all three went up there, they all got attacked. And he kind of forces them like, hey, you guys run, I'll handle this. I think that's how it goes in the book. It could be wrong.
I really like that scene when he's handing Annabeth the sword. So we think
that was amazing.
I was feeling it. I was like, oh my god, the admiration, like give his weapon to his friend, his friend.
Yeah.
But then the fucking like gotcha. It's like, oh fuck, and he's drugged.
That was great. Oh yeah. By the way, great makeup and just like great makeup, whatever, hairstyling, where you can really see how drained he had been since getting poisoned on the train. And they were just putting water on him in the square.
It's not working.
The center. That was hilarious. Like, I don't know if that's how it works. But yeah, it was a great moment where he's just like, Droop! Like, it was so cool. Great juke for his friends, horrible for his friends, but brave of Percy. And he gets his ass kicked. He's not prepared for the fight.
He falls through the hole.
He falls through the hole here, and in the books, people apparently on TikTok, I don't go to Percy Jackson TikTok, but apparently people on TikTok were very upset because in the books he jumps, and it's much braver to jump than fall. But I'm like, okay,
what, just self-sacrifice? For what?
I have no idea. And I think in the books, and even Rick Riordan mentioned like, yeah, it made no sense for him to jump because the arch is not close to the water at all. Yeah. So he would have jumped other guy style, aim for the bushes, and just fell to his death.
I was watching the scene, like he was falling. I was like, shit. But then my brain was like, didn't you get flying shoes? I was waiting.
That'd been amazing if the shoes grabbed him. Or
something. But honestly, the upside down shot of Percy's POV with the water tentacle coming at him, that was a great shot.
Really great shot. I was surprised. I'm like, okay, so he fell. Usually he jumps. Is he going to make it to the water? I don't think he is. What's going to happen here? And like you said,
very clearly over a field.
Oh yeah, very clearly over a field, which again is way more realistic than the book version. And yeah, Poseidon grabs him. This is all book original or TV show original. Poseidon grabs him out of the water, yanks him into the St. Louis River, Mississippi River.
I found it interesting at that final scene where like he was stuck under the rock. Because I was like, why would you set him up like that? But I think it's probably to like keep him down there for like to have it presumed like, all right, I did my job, I killed the kid, let's get out of here, so that it'll be safe when he comes back up.
Oh, good point. I didn't even think about that. I thought it was giving him a chance to speak with the water nymph, whatever that person.
It's probably both.
The mermaid, yeah. But yeah, great sequence. Now, the reason why this was so important and interesting was that the whole episode, the whole season so far, Percy has had a dismissive, very dismissive reaction to his father Poseidon. Does not care for Poseidon. He's doing this quest to clear Poseidon's name because if you forget, the gods think, or the gods are angry at Poseidon, because he had a son and he broke the pact. And not supposed to have Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon are not supposed to have children. They didn't mention it in the TV show. They might mention it later on in the TV show, but especially this was occurred after World War II. They said their son started World War II. So they were like, no more. Actually, it will be brought up because I have to say that it will. I think it will, given new characters that we'll see in future seasons. Yeah. That could be teased in this season. If Rick's been teasing some developments in the casino episode in particular. But anyways, so the gods are angry at Poseidon because they think, hey, you got the secret son. Did he steal the lightning bolt? And then Percy has to clear his name. They think Hades did it because Hades hates the gods on the above world while he lives in the underworld. So they're all like, oh, it must be Hades. But yeah, we'll get to who it actually is. We kind of spoiled it last week as well, but like, we didn't mention a certain character who is definitely involved with the theft of the lightning bolt, who we'll see very, very, very soon.
Saying there's another Skywalker.
There is another. Oh, somebody's jamming outside. But anyways, Percy's very dismissive to his father. He doesn't care about his father. He's doing this quest to clear his father's name, but only really, as we like remember, to just save his mom. He thinks Hades has a way to save his mom, and that's kind of his big reason. Even though, if you remember the prophecy, you will something along the lines of you will fail to save the thing you love, which he thinks could be his mother or the quest in general, or like the lightning bolt, the shirt. But in contrast to to Annabeth, who has been praising Athena, and Athena, who just basically sold Annabeth out to possibly die to Echidna, the demigod killer, Poseidon is the one to save Percy, which is very interesting. He's not the one praising Poseidon. Percy isn't. But he's the one who gets saved by Poseidon. Annabeth praises Athena all the time, gets tossed over by Athena. So it's a very interesting dichotomy that we have here. But it's not because Poseidon loves Percy. Maybe part of him does. But again, you could also symbolize or theorize that it's conditional. Poseidon needs Percy alive to finish the quest so we can clear Poseidon's name. So that could be the reason why. But also it could be because he loves Percy and saved his life. You never really know with these gods. Very interesting. They're very complex. So I'm very curious to see how that gets sorted in the future episodes. But in general, again, I skipped over it, but I like the beginning part of the episode with the whole train sequence, the asshole police officer. It's like, why would we mess up the train car, dude? Like, come on. And again, I like the missed aspect of when they were getting chased by the crazy dog and Echidna herself. They're going through the train car, and they see like a chimera about to attack them. While everybody else just sees a dog. Very funny.
I think there's something in Star Wars called the Chimera. Am I misremembering something?
A ship name? Maybe.
I think so. Chimera, I feel like I heard that somewhere in something that wasn't Greek.
Hunter x Hunter, the anime, has one of the best arcs of all time called the Chimera Ant arc, which is my top 3 fictional arcs of all time, just straight up of all time, of anything I've ever seen, of any TV show. I always go to Attack on Titan. The last arc of Attack on Titan is, I think, masterful. Hunter x Hunter Chimera Ant arc, and then Haikyuu they go to Nationals, and the Nationals arc in Haikyuu is banger after banger after banger after banger. It's just fantastic.
All 3 of these beat any arc in Naruto.
I think Naruto's up there as well. The fated battle between brothers arc. I think I worded that correctly. Fated battle between or of brothers, and the Pain invasion arc. Pain is my favorite character in Naruto, and his invasion of the Leaf Village is phenomenal. What other favorite arcs do I have? All of Arcane is just a masterpiece. That's instantly one of the best shows of all time. By the way, I listened to an hour and a half of 50 writing tips, storytelling tips from the writers of Arcane. If nobody's listened to that, I think it's very informative about or storytelling, writing. I think it was very interesting as well. It's really good. Just look up 50 writing tips from Arcane. This one YouTuber really collected all of them and listed them all out, and it's very informative. Of course, the YouTuber gives his takes on the tips as well. It was very good, especially as we lean into season 2. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna close that presentation in a second, but Arcane season 2 first teaser dropped last week. Sorry to all the shows coming out this year. There will be no show that is better than Arcane season 2. I'm just saying it right now. There's nothing else coming out this year. Like I can envision. There's no Succession. It's over. Better Call Saul is over. Barry's done. The Acolyte could come close. Andor was like my number 2 show of 2022. Unfortunately, Succession, I think, or Better Call Saul beat it a little bit for me. But Yeah, Arcane season 2. I've watched the show at least 4 times now. I watched it again, and probably I might watch it twice this year before we get season 2. It's a phenomenal show. The teaser shows us, one of the antagonists from season 1, who we've barely seen in season 1, but he's the focus of this teaser. It's 42 seconds long. I've watched it a lot. It's pretty much teasing the future of Piltover. And the monsters inside of us, I think. Yeah. I'm geeking out because November 2nd can't come, or November. I don't know if they have an exact date, but November can't come fast enough. Hopefully they do it where they did last season, where they do 9 episodes, 3 episodes per week. I think that'd be the best way to consume and discuss the show. But anyways, Arcane season 2 is coming out, people. But lastly, Percy Jackson. Again, I love this episode. Percy and Annabeth's dynamic is really good. And the whole train sequence, again, I like it. We're getting strong trio stuff. Grover being a bad sleeper was hilarious. And yeah, I'm really loving this show. I think Percy and Annabeth's relationship is just a lot of the newer dialogue is really adding to their stuff. Even again, having just read the book, I think I like a lot of the additional dialogue scenes that Percy and Annabeth are getting. Like we just talked about the friend one, that was new.
Yeah.
What Percy did here, the order of events was new in terms of him sacrificing himself. He didn't think he was going to live, dropping from the arch, but he didn't want his friend to die, and that was the thing. And we're getting the famous not Cave of Lovers, that's Avatar. Tunnel of Love episode tomorrow night. And we're meeting Ares tomorrow night, played by WWE wrestler Edge, so I hear. Yeah, I'm excited. There was a clip that came out today. I watched a little bit of it because I can't resist myself. But yeah, and this one's gonna be a bit longer, 42 minutes, I think, 43, 44 minutes long. It's one of my favorite parts of the book. And I think the show's just very good. There's some complaints about it in terms of the dialogue is hit and miss sometimes, but I really like where the show's direction is so far. I like the trio's dynamic, and me. For me, it's all about characters. I think the character work, their relationship as a trio, is very strong. And some people were criticizing it like there's a lack of fantastical elements in the show so far. I don't think. I mean, you say what you want about the show. I don't care. But in my opinion, I think season 1 is very much a growth into this world. There's not a lot of fantasy aspects, even in the first book. There's a lot of spending time in the woods. You're in St. Louis. You're in LA. You're in the amusement park next week, and it's not much. They're in diners. Again, they're in the casino. The underworld part, spoilers for the book. They go to the underworld. That's kind of the biggest fantasy part of the show, or of the first season / first book. So hopefully that delivers. But this first season isn't supposed to be all about the fantasy of it all. It was Percy's introduction to this world. It's not much of a Harry Potter where boom, Hogwarts and everything changes in front of Harry's eyes. It's more of a slower build in the Percy Jackson universe and from Percy's perspective. But yeah, good show so far. I'm having so much fun with it. Let's talk about the other Disney Plus show, What If? Season 2. Right.
Shall I spearhead?
Yeah, go ahead. You watched this all yesterday because you're Nathan?
I started last night. All right. I watched half last night. I watched half today.
Good for you.
5 o'clock, and then I finished.
Before you begin, I watched this every day last week, two a day. And I'm like, do I take notes? I was going to, but then I watched the episodes. And I'm like, I think I'm good with the note taking. There's not much to say about some of the episodes, in my opinion. But Nathan, I'll let you cook.
All right. I'm gonna bring them up so that we can give some thoughts individually. We won't spend too long. But
yeah, we got time.
We'll say the issues. The issue I have overall with What If, especially this season, is the concepts, while interesting, are severely rushed. And so they'll have emotional beat scenes that are very nice, but we got here so fucking fast. And I get it because it's a 30-minute block, but a lot of it is based off of like pre-existing stuff of the universe, which is like some alterations. But then we get to like lean into like a whole new aspect, like the whole universe changes because of those different things. And then they'll have like certain scenes. It's just like, oh, look at this sweet moment, and I'm like, just fucking stop an explosion. Hold on.
Can you give some examples?
No. I'm sure I will once we talk, but
oh yeah, sure. I mean, but I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it was a lot of interesting concepts that just weren't executed to its highest potential. I think the biggest case of this was the my least favorite episode. I think was a 1602,
really,
which had a lot of potential because it's 1602, but they didn't really do anything with the time period, in my opinion. It was just like it was another case of the characters just going through the motions. There's not any big emotional beats besides the Captain America part. Which for me, I wish that episode did a bit more with its premise. Because it was like, oh, Thor hates Carter because he failed to help him. It didn't really deliver much for me there.
But yeah, let's discuss. So the first one was what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps, and I'll tell you right now, this one was my least favorite.
Okay.
While I did enjoy the overall look of the episode, it felt very Blade Runner a lot.
I like that was the redeeming part of the episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was like
some great shots.
Great shots, great vehicles that look like Blade Runner cars, good rain.
Fantastic rain.
I love the look of the Nova Corps. They look like they're wearing Judge Dredd helmets. There's a lot of like movie homages in this whole season, not just like by name drops, which there are a fuck ton. But yeah, I remember one of the episodes, the Hydra Stomper episode where Steve like kamikazes into the Red Room.
That was a favorite of mine.
I was like, this is fucking Independence Day.
I was thinking Iron Giant, but
yeah, Superman. But this episode, just I'm glad Karen Gillan gets to shine as Nebula. Every time she does, it's great. The fact that she kind of like dons Yondu's look is really cool. But it's very just bland, I feel, when we were going through, because in regards to key players outside of like some fun feature of Howard the Duck and one of like 5 Cork appearances this season, there was it was just like, hey, we got Yonrog back. And I'm like, okay, Jude Law, 3 minutes.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you. I think it was very predictable. When the mission pops up, and I figured it out when Nebula figures it out.
Well, it's a corrupt, like inner corrupt mystery, like detective story, but we have 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, we have 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, doing the math on the runtime, the amount of characters that we're probably going to see, it's her. It's definitely, the High Counselor of the Nova Corps, or whatever her name is.
The Glenn Close character.
Glenn Close, yeah. Close. I'm like, so she's Nova bad. Problem. He's going to betray her. She might see it coming. And it was like A, B, C. All the things happened. But I liked it more than the following. What was was the Star-Lord stuff next week or episode 2?
Yeah.
I think that one was also pretty bland for me. But episode 1, Blade Runner, I liked it because I liked Blade Runner. It was basically Marvel's excuse to do a decent Blade Runner 30-minute show.
No, Evan, I also quite like Blade Runner. And I think that may have hurt this for me.
True. Like, Blade Runner is the most in-depth sci-fi concept ever. Like both of those movies are so deep, and this one's just aesthetic.
There's cool concepts. I mean, the fact that like there's a shield gate around the planet that locks for 50 years, and like people are getting antsy in this isolation.
So cool.
That's a cool idea. We don't spend any time with the civilians, but
we just go to the bars.
Yeah, it is funny. Like, if you wanted to like expand any of these stories, like I'll be there to check them out. But like this one,
I'm good. I remember last year, or last time we got What If season 1. Some of the stories I'm like, I would love a continuation. I can't fathom any continuation besides Cohori, who, spoiler alert, best episode of What If, easily. There's no question. That was like I think season 1 there was a couple episodes. Doctor Strange was a clear standout, but
yes.
There was a couple episodes where I'm like, that was really fun. Just like really fun episode. A lot of the ones this one were just decent. And then Kahori. I think Kahori and the one following that, the Wenwu Kate Blanchett episode. I loved that one.
Yeah. Oh, I know you dig that one.
Of course. Hey, I'm not biased because of Shang-Chi. I'm just saying.
They emulated the camera work of Shang-Chi, and I was like, oh, heaven's gonna die.
That episode when Kate, Kate, what the fuck her name? Kate Blanchett's character. Hela and Wenwu versus Odin had no reason to go that hard. They had no reason to go that hard. That fight was lit. We'll get to that. But yeah, episode 2.
Episode 2, Peter Quill attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I quite enjoyed this one.
That was decent. The daughter, Hope, let me just have this kid escape. Granted, she was right. Kids are right. But if she wasn't, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, they already connected first. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, hey, let me get you out of here real quick. They did have a nice, like, emotional scene. Like, they both listened to Walkmans that they got from their mom, and that was cool. I mean, it's cool seeing like these parents, because like I never would have thought like, oh yeah, these kids are the same age at the same time. I never would have thought of these pair ups, and that's kind of like the fun stuff that What If does here.
Good point. Yeah.
I love the Avengers ensemble that they got. I know they got they had Hank as Ant-Man this time around. They had I think the hero's name is Stature, Lawrence Fishburne's character from Ant-Man and the Wasp, being like way bigger than he would have done before in reference, which is cool.
Yes. Jalen was like, "Who was he again?" I'm like, "The kid from Ant-Man and the Wasp." I'm like, you probably forget. Yeah, it's Fishburne.
We never saw him in the suit. It was only reference. They had a T'Challa's father. It's cool.
Yep, great.
Winter Soldier, Bucky, which is like, every time I see Bucky in the Winter Soldier era, I'm just like, I feel bad for the man, because I know
a few words, but apparently he's like he heard Captain America one time and just like, now I need to go off and think. It was so weird.
Yeah, whatever. Again, we're rushing the episodes, but then they had Marvel, who was just Kree, just a normal Kree person, but made things work.
Did she even have any photon blast, or she was just strong?
She had like Kree tech, so it was like she had like rockets and like blasters.
Got it. Yeah, you're right.
She could boost around. It was cool stuff. She had a ship. But yeah, I thought it was like a sweet overall message, like, taking in Peter with like actually nurturing him. Whereas like Peter even in the MCU, he like grew up with the Ravagers, and like he was like very like swayed on like a very like iffy path, even though Yondu was, had some good qualities. He was also not the best person to raise, but then actually being delivered to Ego and kind of putting him on that path of, giving you this unlimited power, this kid who's going through pain, but then catching him just early enough that he isn't totally manipulated, and we can like sway him back into positivity. I think it's a good story.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't really think too hard about it, but you're right. Yeah, the kid is in a very malleable stage of his adolescence, so you can understand why he was so easily convinced by Ego, his only father at that point. But then also the idea that he still doesn't have a mother in his life, and he can still miss that aspect. And seeing he goes to his true gravestone, right, in this episode.
Yeah,
that was sweet. That was a sweet moment.
Yeah, really lovely. It is a little interesting to be like, hey, you want to be a part of our family? Like Peter's grandpa and his family are still there. He was abducted. Like they're still. Yeah. I'm sure they'll go back, but like he's also a powered being, which is cool. The concept, which I remember going to see Guardians 2, and like they brought up the idea that Peter would have like this similar power to Ego, and I was like, oh, he's going to be unstoppable in Infinity War. Never mind.
Takes it away, which was smart and gun.
Absolutely.
We like Star-Lord because he's like your Han Solo, kind of everyman guy.
Not omnipotent.
Exactly. Okay.
But for all those points, I like the ensemble, the team up, the Shield being led by Howard Stark and Peggy Carter. It's good stuff.
Yep, that was a fun episode. Yep, exactly. I had fun with it.
And then episode 3 was with Happy Hogan Saved Christmas. It's Die Hard parody.
It's Die Hard.
Fun. We got Justin Hammer back.
Best part of the episode, easily. It was Marvel's excuse. I was like, I love this. It was Marvel's excuse to do the hammer dance 1,000 times. Marvel's excuse to put as many Christmas movie jokes in there. Thank you for the Christmas Story reference, the Die Hard reference, thousands of other Christmas movie references they did here. Yeah. Nothing much of depth here. It was a fun, lighthearted Christmas romp.
I think I have enough fun with it. There's enough like self-referential stuff while also like being basically a dollar parody. Like, it's 30 minutes. I toss it on for the holidays.
Yeah, I feel like the Hulk stuff went a bit too long, even for a 30-minute episode.
An interesting choice of to have Happy turn into this Hulk monster
twice in the same season.
Yeah, I was like, what the? Why is that a Nexus thing?
Just so we can say Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. But you're right. Justin Hammer was easily the standout here. He's always been one of the more underrated MCU characters because of how campy he is. And yeah, it was fun. And that was definitely. Did the actor come back for that? I couldn't tell.
Jon Favreau?
Not Jon Favreau. Hammer. Sam.
Sam Rockwell. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought a funny thing, they were going to upload an AI program. It was like, there's Jarvis, there's Friday, and then they pull one called Werner. And it was fucking Werner Herzog. Just being a very droll AI. And I'm like, all right, fucking Favreau definitely called him post-Mando to do this random shit.
That's cool. Yeah, they probably get like 1 day, 1 hour to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But next episode, we had the missing episode from the first season, which is what if Iron Man crashed into the Grand Master?
What'd you think?
I had fun. I had fun with this one because I think there's a lot of cool Tony stuff. I am not sold at all by the voice actor for Tony for this show.
Not great, Bob.
It feels like, I think this is my problem with both him and Steve's actors. Like, they hit like one certain cadence that the actors have, and they kind of just like let that be the whole iteration while also not matching the voice as much because they just want to hit that cadence stride.
That's a good point. That's a good point that I didn't really take away, but you're right. It's like he hits that Tony Stark sarcastic tone voice and sticks with it. Like his jokey voice, he sticks with. Well, we know Tony has a lot of different, thanks to RDJ, he's a lot of different ups and downs he goes through with his voice. But we just stick to, okay, we're doing this. Okay. Yeah, we're doing this. Yeah, it's like more nasally. Okay. Oh, no. And yeah, it's not the best. But I thought the episode was fine. For an episode that could have been in season 1, I wanted a bit more. My brother really liked it. He thought it was hilarious. It was one of the funnier episodes because we got the great Jeff Goldblum's character. I forget his name. Grandmaster. Yeah, he was funny as always. The world of Sakaar, which was gifted to us by Taika, like that world is always going to be funny. It's a very Taika world where it's just like random comedic moments come out of nowhere, and some of it really worked for me here.
Yeah, I thought
not a lot of heart, but it was fine.
I thought there was actually a fair bit of heart in terms of like Tony and his heroism.
True.
Being a protector of the planet. Like there was the great bit going back and forth. Like the first time when he's going back and forth with Gamora, learning about Thanos being responsible for New York, and he instantly gets defensive of just like, I love those different points. Just like no matter what, just like I stay the fuck away from my planet. Like I'm its protector. I love like when he first gets to Sakaar and he sees like the news reports and he sees like, oh, okay, the world's okay, Pepper's okay, thank God. Like,
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we did it. I thought Gamora would have a bigger presence in this episode, and
because they kick it off right as like, oh, her story, but we start somewhere else.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so she's gonna be a bigger focus, but it was more so about Tony and Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, which is cool.
Cool. Why wasn't she in the Guardian of the Multiverse?
Right. Also, I do appreciate them having a mainline story with Tony where he doesn't die by the end of it, because that was a big thing in season 1.
Thank God, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was fun. I thought the racetrack sequence was fun. The Grandmaster being just like the biggest shit in the galaxy.
Yeah, he was awful. But yeah, what's after this one?
Episode 5 was What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper?
Great episode. To this point, for me at least, it was my favorite episode up to this point. I really liked the dynamic between Kat and Nat. Very fun dynamic, very witty, very charming, very fun. Got some heart there because she's looking for, Cap. Cap had been gone. She finally finds him again, but he's mind controlled. Spoiler alert, he's back, but then he's not back. It was a trap. Saw that coming, obviously. There's a predictable aspect to it, but I still liked that relationship there. And the episode did actually have time to slow down when they went to that lighthouse to kind of get away from all the chaos between Cat, Nat, and Cap. Great action sequence between when Hyperstomper tries to go execute Bucky. Great moment of tension between Bucky standing his ground there.
Really interesting seeing an older Bucky.
Yeah, he basically the Robert Redford of this universe.
Yeah, which this was an interesting aspect is they don't have the issue of the Hydra infiltration. They've replaced Hydra in the Winter Soldier scenario with the Red Room from Black Widow.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I thought kind of lost an element of
intrigue.
Best, personally, not to be of an instance of just the Black Widow movie, because I don't mind the Black Widow movie. It's just I feel like the whole idea of working to save what you ultimately have to sacrifice Shield because it's corrupted by Hydra, and then also your best friend who is also corrupted by the same team and trying to fix that. Will he, won't he come back type deal. I think that interweaves very strongly. Versus here is just all right, we got the side thing in the sky. But I do think it's cool that Bucky is the leading councilman of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And I love that fight sequence in the air between Cap and Hyperstomper when they were boxing in the air. It was a very well done fight.
That was cool.
There's a moment when he fires a rocket at her. They both get blown away in the sky. She throws the cap at or the shield at him. It was a very cool, fluid fight in the skies that I really enjoyed. And then the ending kind of peters out with just a lot of just chaos on the Black Widow Sokovia area. They always love going to Sokovia in the show.
Yeah, we do spend a lot of time fighting Rachel Weisz's character, who is evil this timeline, and it didn't do too much for me. Also, I think this is another instance of the replacement actress for Scarlett Johansson doesn't hit for me here. I feel again it's the one cadence, but the cadence you're hitting is monotone straight talk. And
I didn't mind this Black Widow actress. But I kind of see what you're saying, though.
Yeah, it didn't hit for me in that regard, but I do like the relationship with Natasha and Peggy. And I do think the highlight is the stuff between Peggy and Steve, though I do feel like that can be rushed at times.
They wanted, I think by the end of the season, they really wanted us to care about Steve and Peggy. I think a lot of the heavy lifting is from the movies instead of the TV show.
Which makes sense. It's I already do care about Steve and Peggy.
Yeah.
And it was also weird that Steve does the self-sacrifice and the episode ends is Steve's out there and I'm is he?
Is he? That was weird. Yeah, I'm oh, okay. I guess we'll see that.
They showed nothing of his survival.
Me too. I thought it'd be a good sacrifice. I hate sacrifices, so I'm kind of happy he's alive, but also I didn't. It just didn't come to mind when I saw that moment.
Interesting concept that I guess he's stuck in the suit, and if they remove him, he'll die.
That was interesting.
That's an interesting hurdle to overcome. And it was funny that I ran into one of those stupid things that people would do back during Phase 2, which was they opened the movie with the Avengers team up, and then we went through the whole actual storyline, and I was where are the Avengers? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But all right, next episode we had What If Kahori Reshaped the World. Wonderful episode, all spoken in native languages.
This is peak. I tweeted it out. This is what the fucking What If show should be about. Not just introducing new characters. Sure, that's great, but what if? I think the story was what if Odin did something like that, and then using a small what if change to create a whole new universe.
Yeah, because it feels a lot of times when they do this, they kind of stretch it out to what reshaping the full theatrical story would be, as opposed to just this little thing that you can have this one pocket problem, which this episode does.
Yeah, and I think this episode and the next episode do that very well. Where there one simple what if change creates a whole new storyline, and a whole new depth to a character. But yeah, Kahori instantly just a fantastic character. We get connected between her and her brother instantly. We can really feel the sibling relationship there, given the setting, the tragic, 1600s or whatever, maybe 1400s or whatever. You can really understand the plight of the Native Americans and how they're, the idea of conquest and how that's so tragic to not just Kahori, but everybody else. Kahori's convictions throughout the episode to not only save her brother, but her people was very heartwarming and very powerful. And then the powers itself was very unique and very cool. I just had everything I loved about, a single episode. A lot of heart, a lot of thematic resonance with the character, great fight, great animation, great score. I was like, this is easily the best episode of the season.
I think all those were great. I think the antagonist, the Spanish, was great. Them looking for the found youth, which that's like real tales, right? From history.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've always been like looking for that stuff. Yeah, and the idea that they're like so superior, of course, as well. Man, it was a great concept.
So cool. I just I do hope that we will see her transitioned into the films or shows because it's fantastic, and because I think she's an original character in the show.
I think so too, and I would love it. I would love to get your own comic book while you're at it.
I thought I heard rumor that she may pop up in Echo, but I don't know if that was confirmed.
Yeah, we know Echo does have a Native American past. That'd be kind of cool, indigenous past. But yeah, I loved also in the episode where she gets sent into the portal. It's very horrific, but then she's separated from her brother, and I'm like, is she going to forget that she has a brother that she needs to get back home to? But the episode doesn't do that. Like the episode really cements that she just has to get back. And everybody else is like, come on, enjoy the life. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool dichotomy here. Is she going to be succumbed to the comfortable lifestyle of these people who are sent here? They say it's a gift. I'm like, but it's not a gift. This is a curse. This is a trap.
Yeah.
And the show really like doubled down on that.
I think it's kind of like an eye of the beholder situation. It very much is like, okay, well, everything that we're coming to learn, especially with each new person comes here, is just like we're meant to be here. This is like the eternal peace. Like we don't age here. Like everything runs smooth. Everybody is happy, and like we have this power that just helps us, and we feel great. This must be like eternal peace. And of course, when she's here, of course, she starts off like not really believing that because she remembers her life, but then it does feel like after some time spent, like especially dancing by the bonfire by that point, it's like I feel like she was about to slip into the like maybe this is right, but as soon as the Spanish arrive, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. It's like, oh shit, no, this is a great teaching point. This is what we have to fight, not just the people here, but our people out there, and
they're still fighting.
And just the showcase of power where she like moved the portal down.
That was amazing. That was so powerful. And when her taking control of all those like bison-esque beasts in that new world was also very cool. Just showing off her quick ability and how her innate talent for this new power. But then she solos a lot of them by herself before she gets overwhelmed. It was a great showcase of her powers. Just like complete obliteration. Her Neo powers. It was just so cool. It's like speed, telekinesis, like energy projection. It was
portal transfer.
So cool. I want those powers immediately.
All stemmed from the Tesseract. It's interesting. Space.
And then the great moment when her friends, her conviction fueled like that renewed energy amongst the people that she got to know for such a short amount of time, and they come to save her and to save their people, and they go across the world to save other people. It was very cool. They go all the way to Spain, and she speaks Spanish to the Queen. That was really cool.
That was great.
She's just like, leave us alone. We will destroy you if you don't do that. Like, it was so powerful. Loved it.
And I initially, this is the start of my binge. It was like I like seeing Strange pop up because I'm like, I love this dude. I love this character. This iteration. This is great. And I'm gonna have words later, but
I know you would. I knew you would. I was like, okay, that was but we'll get to that. Then episode 7, 8,
Uh,
7.
yeah, 7. Episode 7 was what if Hela found the 10 rings. This was
Fantastic.
a wonderful story. First off, all the parallels to the first Thor, but with Hela's perspective, like couldn't lift her
Great.
crown, stuck in the rain.
The
Like,
moment
slow
she's like, yeah.
yeah, the slow motion. I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. It was great. This is Kate Blanchett, right?
It was Kate Blanchett.
Okay.
I heard the first scene. I was like, that doesn't sound like her. And then I saw her credit pop up, and I'm like, oh shit. And then as the episode went, I was like, okay.
Yeah, me too. I was like, maybe it is. Okay, cool.
I like to not read the name of the credits because it will spoil like what guest appearance might come that they didn't set up.
I'm always like looking. Yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, it parallels a Thor, but also crafts a very heartwarming and unique storyline that gives me a new perspective on a character like a Wenwu, or renewed perspective, one could say, and a new perspective on Hela. Obviously, Odin's like horrible father.
Yeah, he's not gone through his arcs yet.
Not great, Bob. But man, and then I just love the ability of like Kao Lo and how that has the ability to change people. And same thing for Wenwu. It was such a great interaction. Again, the best parts of this episode were Hela and Wenwu's dynamic. I think they had a great dynamic on screen. And Wenwu is a conqueror. But he wasn't looked at as like a huge antagonist, at least at this stage in his life.
I mean, because he has like all the ultimate power in this time frame.
Exactly, he has the ultimate power in this time frame, and you get to see the light side of him a little bit through his interactions with Hela, and especially what they do towards the end of this episode. It was a very awesome dynamic that they had together, but you could also see like how she gets a healthier perspective on the world by going to Kao Lo, and that dichotomy between Wenwu's lessons that she learned from him and the lessons she learned from Kao Lo, and how she became something new completely because of both of them. It was so cool, so wonderful.
I do love the idea that like whenever a woman beats Wenwu's ass, he falls in love with her.
Basically, yeah, it's like he's the definition of the guy like, please kick my ass.
Right. But then going to Ta Lo, that was a wonderful setting where like Hela gets to have that time to self-reflect, and ultimately, because I was wondering like, how do we get Hela to the worthy point? Because I know she's gonna have to get that crown later, and ultimately that being proved with like going against the very like essence of like what Odin currently stands for, therefore breaking his own spell that he set, which is just like the ultimate karma.
Great karma, great full circle moment. I couldn't agree more, and it made for a unique perspective on like what it means to be Hela. She kind of redefined who Hela is. Yes, Hela's the goddess of death, but also she kind of changes that in a way as well.
I viewed it like her purified form, like becoming like the goddess of life, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And yeah, it was a great new version of her character. And yeah, in general, I like the Kao Lo stuff. You meet the great Shang-Chi monster with the butt face.
Right. Maurice is the name, I think.
I think so. I actually knew that as a Shang-Chi fan.
God damn it.
But then, yeah, it's like her appearance is there, and I liked it where she gets the word that like Odin's back. She's like, I got to go fight Odin. They're like, we can't fight Odin. That's not who we are. And she doesn't convince them to fight her. Or fight with her. Hela's just like, I got to do this. I got to come to terms with my father. And she leaves. She doesn't get help from anybody else, but she takes on the lessons that she learned from there. And I like how the Kao Lo, Wenwu's wife in the movie, smiled at that. She's like, we can't help you, but I like that you're growing. It was very cool.
Yeah, you're not fighting just to like get vengeance. You're fighting because this is the only way for you to heal and move forward. And it's out of the betterment of others and not for yourself.
Exactly. So she smiled at that. They're like, you do you, basically. And then she uses those lessons to go fight with Wenwu against Odin. And I mentioned it earlier, this fight is balls through the wall. Incredible. Just the slow-mo with the rings and using the rings to block the staff. And Odin is so powerful. It's so crazy.
Keep trying to call the spear back, and they keep trying to like knock it away. I was like, put the rings over them and just fucking pull it.
There's a moment when Wu was on the ground and Odin had spear tipped at him. Hela like used the rings to kick it upward, and then like just a huge blast in the sky. I'm like, Wen Wu would have been obliterated. Like Odin, holy shit!
Yeah.
It was a really cool fight. I rewatched it. I'm like, man, this fight goes so hard. Like the choreography is fun. The duo dynamic. I love when two people just beat up on one person. Like Civil War is amazing, and then this movie is like it's great.
Odin got humbled real fast.
Real fast. He was like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
he was like, "Yeah, I
you
get
have
it.
to."
Like, yeah, throne's yours."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't want the fucking throne."
I was blinded.
Yeah, man, it was a cool fight.
so good, so lovely. They also like did like there's a quick line, but like Hela brings up that Odin's currently dating a new woman, Frigga, who she's not a fan of, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't realize Frigga wasn't Hela's mother, so that was interesting.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
But then we had episode 8, which was the Avengers Assembled in 1602. You weren't as much a fan. I was quite the fan.
That's good. Okay, cool.
I love the setting. I love the overall style and look of everybody.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, Loki being a dramatic ass actor, keeps trying to like pitch his play to women, and they're not caring.
Not having it. Yeah, zero effect.
So funny. Yeah, it is a shaky thing that like the initial conflict that Thor has. But I do find it interesting that like Hela currently is the ruler, and her and Thor are on good terms. I want to see more of those in What If, so like a healthy relationship between Odin's children. I think that would be great.
That would be very interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fucking bullshit that Thor puts all the blame on Peggy.
It was very contrived for me. I was just like, that kind of took me out at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, you brought me here, and now you're just 2 minutes in, you're upset at me. Okay.
First off, interesting choice of hero of anybody in the multiverse to pick. It's like nothing against Peggy, but like, you know, a super soldier compared to like somebody like Wanda already is like, you're supposed to fix this. How the fuck do I fix that?
I would have loved it. Just cut Peggy from this episode and make it all about Wanda as a witch in this timeline trying to save everybody. That would have been a very interesting choice, particularly for the setting.
Could have had an interesting storyline of like, it's like Salem witch trial type deal.
That's what I'm alluding to. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like a witch in this era, but actually fighting for good. That'd have been interesting. And the topic is there, right? Because they're all like fighting this person. There's a mob mentality aspect to this episode that could have been mined more. But yeah, for me, I just like it was cool. There's a lot of point A to point B moments where it's just like run of the mill. We got to find this, and now we got to find this person, and now we got to find this person. I didn't get any cool character dynamics besides Peggy and Steve, which was cool-ish, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't hit for me as much as I wanted it to.
I'd like everybody's like placement and where they are. Like, I mean, the name Rogers Hood is fucking dumb and hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah.
I love that Tony's is effectively the blacksmith of the time, but not fueled by technology necessarily. With all those different things, Fury has a rocking stash.
Beautiful stash, yeah.
I was questioning how the Ant-Man powers were working back then, but I mean, I don't know. It could be potions or some shit. It could be anything.
Yeah. And then we got Hulk Hogan again.
Yeah, weird. I didn't like his character. It felt like that fucking antagonist that works under the, you know, in like Three Musketeers that goes against the Three Musketeers. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah. I was thinking of like somebody a la like Shmi and Beauty and the Beast, just like a bumbling sidekick kind of person. Not Shmi. Shmi's from Peter Pan, whatever his name is in Beauty and the Beast.
LeFou,
yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fun environment. Obviously, there's a through line of the season plots, which I wasn't expecting, because we have random one-off episodes, and then they'll randomly be like, "Hey, remember the last episode? Oh shit!"
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess that's all we have to add for that one.
It was fine.
Cool climax.
Yeah.
But then the finale, which I was hyped going into, which was
last season finale compared to this one, way better last season.
Well, like, Killmonger there.
Killmonger was badass.
Killmonger versus a successful Vision Ultron. Like, oh my god.
The Vision Ultron battle was amazing. Killmonger was great. We got to see the evil Doctor Strange, who was now good, team up with the Guardians of the Multiverse. It was a very fun finale, very conclusive finale. This one, the best part again was Kahori. Corey,
Yeah,
she's so good.
So 1602 ended where this begins, which is Strange Supreme and Peggy are chatting in the bar, and it's like, hey, I need your help. There's another big thing happening. There's a new multiversal threat of this woman, and I'm like, okay, I wonder who we're gonna see. And then they're setting it up, and I can tell by just like process of elimination and also seeing effects of like that. I legit, because I'm a dumbass, I was like, they're setting up Kahori to be the antagonist, and I was like, why the fuck would you do that? This is the coolest person you've introduced this
Me
season.
too. I'm like, wait, is she fighting Kahori? The minute she got sent to a gray wasteland, I'm like, oh, this is a trap.
Because I was like thinking, I was like, maybe it's a new villain, because this is apparently a world where fucking Hydra won.
You can ask Jalen. I'm like, Jalen, I think this is a trap, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like. I think because hey, your best friend puts you to a gray wasteland, and I'm with you. I'm like, it might be Kahori. I thought Scarlet Witch. I'm like, Kahori or Scarlet Witch could be here, but why would they fight each other?
Because the setup was he said like they'll see me coming, but you're new, they wouldn't expect you.
When somebody says that, that's sus as hell.
Well, okay, because again, to double down, like why I was believing the setup is because Kahori's episode ends with Strange Supreme arriving, so I was figuring like, okay, so yeah, this definitely seems like they're setting up Kahori, and I'm just like, why would she be the antagonist? This seems dumb. Like, just add her to your roster, idiots.
Yeah.
But then they go to reveal that Steven has regressed, and god damn it,
I didn't earn the staff.
No, I don't think it's that bad, but it's like he's like he fell in once again to like, I gotta save Christine. It's like, motherfucker, you did
again.
We're presumed to believe from, again, my favorite episode of the whole series, from the Doctor Strange episode, that like Steven tried for eons, like, because he had his teacher dude from the temple who aged and died. Like, he's been at this forever trying to figure out and like feeding off the demon souls and damage his soul to try to save Christine, and this whole universe died because of it, and he got a second chance from the Watcher to be like a helping hand in the multiverse for this stuff. And it's like, this is really compelling. And they set up at the beginning of this episode where like Steven is able to do the shit to save the multiverse that the Watcher cannot intervene with. And like, that's a great extension. That's a great idea. That's
great
cool
concept. Yes.
But then it's like, no, I'm just trying to save Christine again because now I can. It's like,
and then they spoiler alert, they ended on, me, last minute sacrifice. I'm gonna take down my inner demon and see you later, Captain Carter.
Which, like, I like the visual, of course, like him literally holding the demon down.
Great visual. Yeah.
But I was just like, this is
now he's gone.
Yeah.
Why do they do this?
Part of me would have felt better of just if they were like leading up to like, this is all right, you fucked up again, we're gonna banish you to this dying world, and then it'd be like the fucking Strange variant from Multiverse of Madness. That would have been better.
A Strange variant would have been cool. Hey, hell, we could fight Hulk Hogan. That'd be a full circle moment.
But again, yeah, Kahori is great.
She's amazing.
She gets to save everybody. As cool on the surface as it is, them getting like every hero power, it was like, okay.
Yeah, it was a lot. It basically, again, like I am all the Jedi kind of thing. Let me just use every power here.
Which is weird because like Peggy already has all Infinity Stones. That's enough.
That's way more than enough.
Like, I'm gonna get Hela's crown. I'm gonna get Mjolnir.
It was weird. And then let's run through all the villains we've seen. Hey, Killmonger, dead. Hey, Zombie Wanda, dead.
I don't think they killed Killmonger. They just kind of like threw him into the mix with everybody.
Kahori's power just basically teleported him out of the armor. I was like, holy shit, she's so OP.
I was like, all right. I love her, dude.
She's so OP, man. I don't care.
Yeah. But then we go through the episode. Steven, again, great visuals as always with like the demon animations that they have. All the animation has been great throughout.
Animation was great this season. You can definitely tell they ramped up for sure.
Yeah, I always love seeing the contrast of like the explosions are obviously 2D drawn, but they just fit the environment.
Oh, speaking of 2D, there was a great sequence here in the finale where Steven, a lot of his dark energy is like 2D. I forget what happened, but like he got pushed back, and then behind him, all the shadows were like turned to 2D animation as he got like, I forget what happened, but it was a very cool 2D, 3D concept there.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But then the episode ends with Steven's universe was restored, and Christina's alive. But this is now a universe where Steven was never born, and I'm like,
fuck,
because I've been here. I've watched a movie. There is a movie called The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher.
I've never seen that.
Do you care about spoilers?
Go ahead.
Okay, so essentially, in that movie, he has the ability to kind of like jump to a memory in time by like looking at like a photograph or like reading a little journal of his, and he re-enters.
Look at this photograph.
Yes, and he re-enters his self in that point of time, and he can change the past to affect his future, and there's like a chain effect where like, oh, like this girl he likes is like, she has a shitty life, maybe I can fix that, and so he goes to like better her situation. But then one of his other friends get in this shitty situation, and he keeps trying to fix it, but everything keeps crumbling more and more, and ultimately it's fucking awful. The solution he has come to is like it's like a sicko version of It's a Wonderful Life, which essentially is like, all of them would be better off if I wasn't alive. So the motherfucker goes back to the womb and grabs the umbilical cord in the womb, and he strangles himself, and he dies in the womb. And that's how the movie ends. And that's effectively what this episode of What If is kind of ish done.
Ew!
I know!
Is this a well-regarded movie?
I think at least at the very least, that's the
no way.
Director's cut.
No way.
Cuts. I don't think it's a well-regarded. It wasn't like critically well-received. There's fans of it because there's like a trilogy that has different actors, and people like prefer the first one. But yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, watching this episode, I was like, ew, why? Why would you? Because you felt like so fucking bad for Strange Supreme at the end of the Doctor Strange episode. And then when he got a second chance, that was fucking cool. And now Ben soloed, kind of.
Yeah, it was just like, he never existed. By character that was so beloved from the first season. Why? There's more seasons after this. You just ruined yourself. Okay.
Like you could have taken any existing villain or made a new one and just made like, all right, we're teaming up against this shit. You could have did a fucking Kang thing or something. I don't know, but
it was bizarre.
Yeah, that was just...
the only positive I had for that episode was like Kahori and Peggy teaming up was fun.
Yeah, I like their dynamic even more.
Me too.
And I forget where.
What'd you think? The Captain Carter focus this season was very interesting. I did not expect it compared to last season, where it was like very much individual episodes. Captain Carter was in a majority of these episodes, and she's fine. I like her character a lot. I like Kahori because it was so individualized. I want more of these episodes to be more individualized. 1602 was cool, all about Peggy. You know, the other episode was cool, all about Peggy. It's like, I like more individualized episodes of What If. The best episodes for me were the ones without Peggy. And I like Peggy. I'm not saying, I hate Peggy. I just like the Hela episode because it was so individual to Hela's character arc. Kahori's character arc. All the other ones had a bit of Peggy stuff to do with it.
Yeah, so I love Peggy in every iteration. I love Agent Carter. I know there's a big horde of Peggy haters.
There are.
And it's always fucking annoying to see. And I know they've definitely probably didn't like this season. And I've always been a big defender of her in any of these iterations. I will say, yeah, I do think Peggy's plot line, shockingly, because I was excited to see more of her, was probably some of my weakest stuff of the season.
She was so focused a lot, but it was still so thin. It was weird.
It's thin because I mean they literally had to stretch her out across multiple episodes, and maybe if you just did like a nice like 1-2 part 1 and 2, maybe save her for the finale. If you made the fucking like Steve Hydra Stomper a part of like some other villain team ups, that's like some shit's going down, and then we have the Guardians of the Multiverse again come back to get shit done. I don't know. That would maybe be something, but we're here. And then the episode ends taking her to the Loki tree, which was in the trailer, which is in the trailer with Christmas decorations for some reason.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was weird. Was that at the end of the season? That was like the last shot, right?
It is last shot, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was cool. It just yeah. The
That's
season
something
was
I thought.
fine.
That's something I thought in 1602 they were going to reveal is like those green rifts that were happening. I thought was going to be like TVA related, like timelines trying to rewrite themselves. That's why 1602 the world is dying, because it was like the end of like, you know, like the apocalypses thing that they set up in like Loki.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. That definitely would have been cool. But yeah, I think as a whole, I think I enjoyed season 1 more. But Kahori episode was just so strong. Kahori and the Hell episode were just so strong, but those were the two big memorable moments for me, at least.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at season 1 now, because the first episode with Captain Carter was fantastic. T'Challa's Star-Lord was great.
Oh my god, that was good. I forgot about that episode. That was a very heartwarming episode.
Yeah,
wow,
they had I remember you said you really liked the murder mystery one, losing the
I'm a sucker for murder mystery. It was unnecessarily brutal.
yeah. And then they had the Doctor Strange episode, they had the zombies episode, they had the Killmonger Rescue Tony episode, the Thor partying on Earth. That was just a silly one. But then they went into the Ultron 1 episode, and then the Watcher Broke His Oath episode, which is part 1 and 2 finale. Yeah, season 1 is a fucking banger.
A lot of those episodes were, again, individualized, I guess, because they were setting up Guardian to the multiverse, so they wanted to get each individual character. But either way, we got a lot more individualized episodes in those seasons. This one felt more so, if season 1 was more character focused, this one is just more concept focused.
I do find it interesting, because remember when we got our first tease to Multiverse of Madness, and like we saw the Dark Doctor Strange, and people thought it was Supreme Strange. It wasn't, but people thought, and just the hype people were feeling about that. And now looking in contrast to now, which is that we have killed off the man, it's like that you dropped the ball, sir.
Big time. So yeah, season 2 was like, I'm watching it, I'm like, Jalen, that was decent. Oh, that was great. That was decent. So nothing really like drove conversation as much as certain episodes did.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how the Marvel Zombies project turns out, I guess.
But yeah, that should be fun. Both time Marvel Zombies was okay, but maybe if it's stretched out, it can be more fun.
We know the team that they're gonna have. Like they got Yelena, Marvel, Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I forgot Kamala did say, Iman did say she's the main character. So fuck it. It's going to be awesome because I love me some Iman Vellani. I love Miss Marvel. And yeah, the team itself there looks better than the team for Thunderbolts. Heyo.
Red Guardian's in that roster as well.
Oh, God. Thunderbolts. You mean all characters who can just beat up and be strong.
We have one OP. Ghost is kind of OP in comparison to the rest of them. Because
I heard some of the rewrites, Ghost might be out.
That's fucked. Poor actress.
Poor Hannah. She was good. Yeah. So moving on here, we can run through the movie news real quick. Colman Domingo as Kang. Do you think there's a possibility?
I think it's a possibility. I don't see why it couldn't be. I don't think he's like overly committed to a lot of like long form projects.
They are doing a Color Purple series. I'm kidding. No.
Right. Who knows when the fuck Euphoria season 3 comes, and when it does, he has.
Oh God. HBO announcing Euphoria season 3 and Big Little Lies season 3. We don't need either of them. I hate Big Little Lies season 2, and Euphoria season 2 was very hit and miss. But you're right. I think that's the only Colman TV show that I can possibly see in the far future.
Yeah, and then he recently did voice work as Omnicron for Rise of the Beast Transformers.
I forgot. That's the main villain, right?
Yeah. Well,
or no,
it's the coming threat. The main. I think. Did they do Megatron again? I don't remember.
Who was the main villain? He was so good.
was pretty good.
The voice, at least, not the character. The voice was very cool. For that main antagonist who just beat up.
I think we talked about it at the time too. We were like, that was him. So let me look again.
Yeah, was it Peter Dinklage?
I think it was.
Was it Peter Dinklage?
I think so.
Because that voice is so stellar.
Yeah.
If people have not, if they're watching this podcast, Nathan and I liked Rise of the Beast. At least I did. I forget if you did.
I did. Yes. Peter Dinklage as Scourge.
Scourge. What a great voice acting performance.
Very good.
I really liked it.
But yeah, in regards to Colman Domingo, he is a phenomenal actor, and I think, you put him in the role of Kang, he arguably could probably bring even more menace into the role.
I see you, and I'm scared. I'm scared.
Like,
yeah, you're right.
Him getting like so personally close and talking in that deep tone, it's like, oh, I'm shitting my pants, dude. That's terrifying.
I think Coleman said he wanted to play like some more evil characters. I was watching the Actors Roundtable with Hollywood Reporter, and he was talking about like getting a character like Rustin, who was a very beloved figure, and then a character like Color Purple, where it's like, as an artist, it's so good to play a good and very bad character. Yeah. And I think he was excellent in The Color Purple, very menacing there. But yeah, I think he'll be very good as Kang. He has a menacing side to him, which would be fun to play against. He can get campy. So I like Colman Domingo just can do it all for me. He's a phenomenal actor. I think he will definitely elevate the material. And it goes again with my stance. I think yours as well, where we don't need to discard Kang. It's not too late to still focus on Kang. Do not rush this whole end of the multiverse stuff. Stick to your guns. Just recast Kang. He's a multiversal character. It's not that hard. You kind of lucked out here. Kang is a character that nobody gives a fuck about. We were only introduced to him. The worldwide audience was only introduced to him in Ant-Man and the Wasp, unless you watched Loki.
Yeah, and even then, it was only like the end of season 1. And then some of season 2, a good amount. Exactly. But yeah, it's always funny to look like them shooting themselves in the foot with the Quantumania end credits. So just like they're all majors. But then you have your own established thing where like you have the same character with different actors. Spider-Man is the biggest multiverse success that they've had, with like over $1 billion of 3 different Spider-Man, all Peter Parker, all different actors that you like. You can do it with Kang. It's fine.
Nobody would care. And actually, people would clap and cheer because Coleman is so beloved of an actor.
Yeah. And Quantumania itself didn't perform the best anyhow.
Nope.
So, yeah.
People would understand. People don't care once they see the movie, and if it's good, especially, they're like, "Oh, cool, good choice." Anyways, let's see the next one, that kind of thing. So audiences are very fickle; they don't really care.
Right.
But yeah, so I think Coleman will be a good. This is an interesting rumor. We'll see if it picks up any steam. But again, I don't know if we'll see any developments on this. A lot of insiders have said MCU isn't really prioritizing the Kang casting right now. They don't need to. Avengers 5 comes out in 2026 or whatever. What they're focusing on, again, getting reshoots on Thunderbolts, fixing that movie, and starting filming that movie because they didn't even start filming yet. That's why we're going to talk about the next project yet. But or the next news story. But yeah, Thunderbolts needs to start filming. Fantastic Four needs to get casted and filming. So those 2 movies. Blade needs to get off the ground. Deadpool marketing is heating up soon. There's not a lot of stuff to worry about in terms of like Kang recasting just yet. There's still some more projects on the book. Daredevil Born Again has to get totally revamped. So I think the MCU has a lot more on its plate than Kang, but Coleman will be amazing as Kang. But like we said, sorry.
Sorry, finish your point.
No, I was going to say, like we said, though, Thunderbolts hasn't started filming, and that's why Steven Yeun had to depart.
Yes.
But yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say, Evan, can you believe the MCU is entering its 16th year?
That's crazy.
And just to hit you with some bizarro comparison, when Days of Future Past was coming out for the X-Men, that series has been running for 14 years.
Damn. And now we're 10 years since Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's Jason Bourne. No,
Those are such funny edits, man.
that's
Jesus Christ.
crazy.
It's Jesus Christ.
2014 was a great year. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Days of Future Past, Winter Soldier, Guardians, Whiplash, man,
Kingsman.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Yeah, holy
Interstellar.
shit. Interstellar. Man, take me back. That was my freshman year of college too, and I was like going between college classes, movies, college classes. It was a busy time for me.
What was the big Christmas movie 2014 pre Star Wars?
2014 Christmas. What came out that just? Oh, was that a Lord of the Rings movie? Was that a Hobbit movie?
Yes, it was. It was Battle of Five Armies.
Was that 2014?
That
Yeah,
was
yes, it was. It was.
December, yeah, because it
then
started
the
in
last
2012.
Because the next year after that was when Star Wars dominated the December holiday.
I remember you
15.
got to see the Force Awakens teaser in front of The Last Hobbit.
Yeah. So yeah, Hobbit dominated, then Star Wars dominated for 3 years in a row, or 14, or 15, 16, 17, and then 18 was so. What came out December 8? Oh, Aquaman,
yeah,
and Spider-Verse, and
Billy.
What a great December that was. Yeah.
But yes, as you mentioned, Stephen Yeun has departed. Playing the role of Sentry in Thunderbolts due to scheduling conflicts. He is headed toward a different project.
One of the first times where I actually believe it definitely just was scheduling projects. This movie was supposed to come out, or conflicts. This movie was supposed to come out this year, got delayed another year because of the writer's strikes, and they just hadn't even started filming yet. And I believe he was attached early on, and having a movie stretched into the following year, you haven't even started filming yet. And I think for Steven, he had other stuff on his plate that he couldn't ignore. He is filming the next movie with Lee Isaac Chung, I think, or somebody, the director of Monarch, Lee Isaac Chung, who is doing the Twisters movie this year, which I'm so excited to watch.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I think he would have been a great Sentry. It's very unfortunate. He was like my favorite casting in the movie, besides seeing Florence Pugh again.
Oh yeah, I mean, Stephen Yeun is great in like whatever he does. He's a phenomenal actor. I personally I don't know anything about the character of Sentry, so I really don't know how things would play out in terms of adaptation. Like I wouldn't even know like who to get next because I don't know that character.
I think Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes had Sentry. I remember it from him, a blonde, overpowered, or maybe was he in the Civil War run in the comics Sentry?
I don't know. I always think of what's his name? Adam Warlock and the Infinity Gauntlet story.
No, but I remember seeing Sentry in some kind of media, whether it's comic book or TV show. But yeah, he's an overpowered,
like a Superman.
Yeah, character.
But he was meant to potentially be the antagonist of Thunderbolts.
Yeah, in a sense, how a lot of Thunderbolts characters are all people who have been experimented on. Thunderbolts or Sentry would also be a character who has been experimented on, forming that kind of connection there. And they quickly realize that he is stronger than they initially thought. And I think the premise of Thunderbolts is like they realize it's a trap, and then like Julia Louis-Dreyfus sold them out. I forget. It's some kind of betrayal-esque premise.
Yeah. Sorry about that plot line running.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they'll stick with Sentry. They're just going to recast the actor. Some people have said Andrew Koji, because if they want to keep like the Asian, whatever. Andrew Koji was great in Warrior. Watch Warrior when it hits Netflix, or just watch HBO Max now.
I love that actor, dude. He's so cool.
He's so cool. He's so great. So that would be really cool. I don't know what Andrew's up to these days, but I would like it a lot. Or they could just recast anybody. There's no really. Stephen Yeun as Sentry was already different because Sentry was like a white dude with blonde hair in the comics, so they can go anywhere with that character.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Do you want to discuss? Do you have time still? Favorite movies of the year?
Yeah, we can do it. I figure. Yeah, we could. I was thinking do a top 10, but also like the 5 under for like an honorable mention. So I was essentially
Okay.
kind of at 15.
Okay. I mean, I could share my letterbox as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at my letterbox. I was gonna
Okay.
figure we can list them down. I don't know if you wanted to go like back and forth on the slot placement. We could do that.
Sure. How so? What do you mean? Just go back and forth between 10, your 10, my 10, or 9 and my 9, that kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah. And then we could just like say our honorables right now.
Okay.
I'm coming up with this on the fly, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. So in general, 2023 had a lot of fantastic movies. On my Twitter on December 31st, I showed my top 15 because there was just so much to love.
How many movies do you have on your list?
My letterbox in general?
Yeah, on your 2023 films that you watched.
I finally made it to 100 movies last year.
All right. I'm at a crisp 37.
37.
Yeah.
Yeah, my least favorite movie was on my list it says Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone was just the last movie I saw.
Oh.
I saw it at my mom's house. It was a Gal Gadot Netflix movie. It was fine. Worst movie I saw was Sound of Freedom, by the way.
Okay.
Not great.
I didn't see that one. My least favorite was 65.
Oh wow, yeah, 65 is number 82 for me. Not great, Bob.
I remember going in just like, oh fuck yeah, Adam Driver and dinosaurs. What could go wrong?
And it was by the writers of Quiet Place, right? Like Scott Beck and them.
It was
let's see
Sam
here.
Raimi produced it. Yeah, Scott Beck.
Yeah, Scott Beck, Brian Woods, or they helped
Scott
helm.
Beck directed and produced, and he was also the writer along with Brian Woods.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. Yeah, that was a very unfortunate movie. I saw Leave the World Behind, by the way. Not great. I think I liked it more than Ant-Man. I have Ant-Man below it, Flash below it.
Yeah.
Insidious The Red Door was not great. Five Nights at Freddy's was not great.
Yeah.
Last Voyage of the Demeter, boring.
I have Renfield down there, which is
Josh hated Renfield. Yeah.
I wanted to like it so much more.
Especially before it happened last year. I saw it, so nobody else has to see it. Bad. I have The Exorcist at 93.
I have it at 30.
Yeah, Exorcist is not good, Bob.
I didn't hate it.
But
again, had you seen Exorcist 2, which you haven't? I think you may be like, not that bad.
Before we get to some other ones, just throughout my list, some ones that I loved that not a lot of people saw. No One Will Save You was a very fun movie. Hunger Games was great. What's it called? Haunting in Venice, Equalizer 3. Those were some fun, surprising movies. Mm-hmm. Ferrari, I saw towards the end of the year. Amazing. The Killer, my favorite director, David Fincher. The Killer was great. Iron Claw, Tears in the Rain. TMNT was great. Nimona. So yeah. So you say when you do a top 10 or 15?
A top 10, but like 11 through 15 being honorable mentions.
Cool. Now my letterbox is not loading. Okay, 11 to 15. You go through yours first.
Okay. Just to shout them out because they're in 16, 17. I loved Creed 3 and Scream 6.
Big time. Me too. Great movies.
Great. But yeah, at 15 I had Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones. 14 I had Missing. So good.
Those movies, man, 2 for 2, Searching and Missing.
A lot, dude. Like from Missing upward, like a lot of them just kept getting like knocked out of the top 10 because I just kept seeing other things that were like, oh, this is so good. Number 13, I had Talk to Me.
Oh, that's my number 16. Yeah, Talk to Me.
That is arguably the best horror film of the year.
Excellent movie. I got it for Christmas. Thank you, Dad.
Nice.
Great movie.
But with my own personal biases, number 12, I had Saw X.
Saw X. So that was your favorite horror movie of the year?
Yeah, it ended up being my favorite. It's my favorite Saw film.
It might be mine too. Yeah.
It really is. It's so good. I remember Hoffman popped up and I fucking yelped.
He's back.
The goat. And then at 11, I had Suzume.
Great. Too low, but it's okay.
Look, it was higher.
Too low.
when I first saw it.
There's
It was
10
number one.
movies better than Suzume. I can't wait to hear the rest of your list.
Oh, all right, you can null that because I'm probably not, especially when you hear what number 10 is. But you go now with your honorables.
My 11 through 15. Number 15 being Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh.
Great movie. Arguably the best Guardians movie. Maybe. Rye Lane, number 14. Rye Lane's on Hulu. British rom-com. Fantastic. 13, Barbie. Great movie. Love Barbie. Thank you, Greta Gerwig. What screenplay is no?
I just rewatched Barbie a couple days ago.
It's good. Also, thank you, Dad.
Hey.
Number 12, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Easily could have been number 1 if it wasn't for a certain scene.
And so it's all the way down. I want to make it number 2 or 3.
I kept watching. I'm like, I can't put this in my top 10 just because I love Mission Impossible, and I do love this movie. Like, I've seen this movie 5 times now. It's probably the most on this list next to Spider-Verse. And it's a phenomenal movie. It's just, I'm sad. I'm sad. I don't want to be sad watching Mission Impossible, but I'll continue to watch the movie because it's so great.
But isn't that Ethan's legacy?
Also, thank you, Dad. Is that Ethan's legacy? Bullshit, Chris. That's not his legacy.
You can have words with me and Chris McCord.
Number 11, Saltburn.
Okay.
Saltburn was very fun. Very cool movie. People like to hate on it now. I see why. I just love it. I think it's very compelling, and I think it's very fun. But yeah, that's my 11 through 15.
All right.
Let's do our 10.
Yeah, I'd like to keep in mind, I'm still missing a fair bit of films, obviously, for the year.
Really?
I haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet. That's just about hit Apple.
Oh, wow.
So I'm catching it soon. I'm missing it. I haven't seen Color Purple yet. Just Poor Things. I really need to see Poor Things.
Is that on my list? Poor Things? No.
This is probably a number like top 3. I get it. But okay, yeah. So who's going first? Number 10.
I'll go first. Number 10 for me, Boy and the Heron. The Boy and the Heron.
I need to see that.
Great Miyazaki film. I saw it the first time and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this movie. It's very compelling, very deep, and very methodical, very mournful, sorrowful. It's not Kiki. It's not Toto. It's not your fun, happy time. This is a very depressing movie at times, which is why it's so stunning to me that this made so much at the box office and continues to hold well at the box office, beating the likes of like Demon Slayer soon, I think. Because it's very much built on Miyazaki's name, and Miyazaki's legacy is crawling throughout this entire movie. But it's very heartwarming. One of the best scores of the year. Joe Hisaishi is just magnificent composer. One of my favorites easily. And Boy and the Heron, I saw it again, and I liked it even more the second time. I really understood the character relationships. I had a blast with this. So The Boy and the Heron is my number 10.
Nice. My number 10 ended up being Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle, fun.
Yeah,
fun movie. What a surprise!
It's very fun, dude. I just fell so in love with the Reyes family. They're just so good. They feel like a real family. I think there's so much heart. There is a weakness obviously in regards to villains, but in superhero films I'm kind of used to it. The character work is phenomenal. There is like a multiple amount of time that you spend with our boy, who you get scenes with family or friends, just like one-on-one personal scenes, and they just get to like sit and like the feelings and emotions of where you're at in life, and it's just so good.
It's so good. Jaime and his father have a great connection in this movie. There's a scene towards the end that really hits emotionally outside of his house.
Yes.
And yeah, I think one of the most emotionally compelling superhero movies of last year in the recent memory. And yeah, you mentioned the villain. Yeah, it's not great, but neither is Ronin in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And I love that movie to death.
Yeah.
So
for sure. And great hero action as well. Like I think they really delivered. I think the effects look nice. And I'm counting it as the first step in the DCU. I think it'll be great.
I agree. Number 9 for me, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers. Golden Globe winner. Oh, really?
Number 9? Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. Let's both talk about it. Yeah, this movie is we talked about it earlier in the episode. Christmas magic. We're going to be watching this for the next couple of years now. It is just a perfectly cast movie. Paul Giamatti as this fish-smelling curmudgeon character, hilarious in spades, but surprisingly deep with each character. The more you learn about Dominic Sessa's student character, the more you really feel for him. The book scene in Boston is great. The scene at the office at the end of the movie, just tears. So good.
I'm excited to rewatch because, like, with everything I know now, when one of the assholes messes up, like, presumably the only Polaroid he has of a family portrait with his dad, and knowing where things go, like, which went a different direction than I expected, frankly. Gut-wrenching.
Gut-wrenching moment.
And you would feel just as pissed as he is.
For real, for sure. By the way, I love the camaraderie early on between, not camaraderie, just like dysfunctional atmosphere amongst all those students at the beginning of the movie, the first 2 acts.
I really thought that was going to be the whole movie with the group.
Me too. Then they all, things change. And it was great. Divine Joy and Radoff scene in the kitchen. Oh, that's her Oscar clip right there. That's why she's sweeping all the awards, because she's so good in this movie. Yeah. I love her in this movie. So yeah. Great movie, number 9 for both of us. Anything else then?
No, I think we got that one. Just watch it. I don't want to talk too much about it. Yeah.
Watch it. It's on Peacock. Watch the cock.
Watch the cock. Streaming on the cock. That's one of their promos they had from Sebastian Stan. And I was like, that is genius marketing.
Amazing. Number 8. What's your number 8? You go first.
Number 8, I had Wonka.
Wonka. So good. Did not crack my top 10, but man, Wonka hit. Where do I have Wonka?
His director was Paul King.
Yes, Paul King.
Yes. Who made the Paddington films, which I've still yet to see, and I very much want to see them. But hey, Paddington 3 is coming up.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I think we literally talked about it last week. I think Paddington. I just didn't add it.
I think so.
Yeah,
and I know those are probably like held as like still his top work. So the fact that I can only go up from here is phenomenal. Wonka was just, again, I said it before, it's a delight. I got very emotional with every just like one-off mention of Wonka talking about his mom made me emotional, just personally with my own personal life. But everything was just wonderful. The colors, the choreography, the singing, the whole cast was wonderful. And Timothée Chalamet, I think, just captured a very wonderful essence of Willy Wonka. He didn't like do a thing where he's like wholly copying like Gene Wilder's interpretation. It really does feel like he's just doing Wonka, like the essence of the character of Wonka.
Yeah, I totally agree, dude. Great movie. I loved Wonka. My audience sitting in there loved it as well. It was a great packed theater for that one.
I wish I saw it in a packed theater. I was late.
You weren't late to the movie. You're just late.
No, I was late to the release.
Yeah. Well, number 8, May December on Netflix.
I very much want to still see that.
They say this is a comedy. I don't think this is a comedy. I think you would love
this. Is that Golden Globe shit where it's like,
The
Martian's a comedy.
It was so funny. They think this is a comedy. They go to the clip of the movie and it's about like the premise of the movie and it's dark and I'm just like, Steve is not supposed to be a comedy.
Like the clip they rolled, like, was there any laughter at the clip?
No, nothing at all. Like person X did this to person Y, and it's like, this is what the premise is about. I don't want to tell you because I had no idea what the movie was about before I saw it, unless you already know.
No.
So I was just like, I had no idea what the premise is about. It's based on a true story, but it's not like based on a true story. It's just like loosely based on a true story.
Inspired.
Yeah. And one of the most perfectly cast trios of the year, just like the holdovers with Dominic Sessa, Divine Joy, and Paul Giamatti. This one has Julianne Moore in a chilling role, Natalie Portman in another chilling and uncomfortable role, and then Charles Melton as the husband in this movie. Best supporting performance of the year, or close. He's so good. Everybody was so good in this movie. It's one of those movies that keeps you on your toes. It's a very uncomfortable watch, but so engaging and so interesting. And it does have moments of comedy, moments of camp to it. especially with how the score interweaves throughout the story.
Mm.
But it's really good. I'm trying to jump around the premise, but yeah, May December is just watch it for the performances. The premise will shock you and really keep you engaged. What's number 7 for you?
Number 7 was originally my number 4, like a couple days ago, and I just randomly rethought about it, and so
Spider-Verse dropped this. No, I'm kidding.
No, I was like looking at the other entries, and I was like, it's probably better. But number 7 is for me, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
There we go. Okay.
But yeah,
well, that's before. Yeah.
That was holding strong for a while up there, like 4 or 5. But I was looking at the other ones. I was like, I don't know, I love it. It's phenomenal. I am upset. I'm not clearly as upset because I can't deny I love watching my favorite characters go through tragedy.
You sick bastard.
I'm a sick fuck. Yes. But I just I love the character exploration, like how they deal with grief and loss.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite stuff in like anything, especially in a sequel when like we've established the connections with characters and we spent time with them, and having to see them go through that. It's some of the most compelling stuff in any story for me. Like name any show that has something like that. My favorite season probably the events that had that. But yeah, I think obviously all the stonework was phenomenal. Tom, it's not lost any charisma. He's still the movie star of the century. And the whole cast brought their A game. Haley Atwell is a phenomenal addition. I think she is just fucking. Obviously, it's my favorite role of her since Peggy. Could be a better role than Peggy as the series goes on, just because of her involvement level. And,
we'll see, yeah.
And charisma, it's great.
Yeah, the train sequence is still an all-timer. The airport sequence especially really delivers on Cruise's charisma for sure. My number 7 is Anatomy of a Fall. I saw this very late. It was one of the last movies I saw of 2023. This is right up my alley. It's a not a detective story, but it's a crime drama, courtroom drama that really delivers on the courtroom intrigue of this event. In terms of somebody dies and it's like, who did it? Yeah. And I won't go into much more than that, but the courtroom aspect is intriguing. It really dives into complex relationships between a husband and wife, and how that can reveal a lot or little about a person and their relationship. And then the mystery angle is very great as well. It's just a lot of this movie just sings for me. I think I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was just excellent. The kid in this movie, amazing. One of the best child performances I've seen in recent memory. Milo is his first name. He's just so good in the movie. I love Anatomy of the Fall. It's on PVOD for only like $6 now, so it's pretty cheap. Nice. Yeah, that's my number 7. Number 6.
Number 6, I had Oppenheimer.
Wow. Okay. Oppie.
Yeah, which I think actually ended up going higher, maybe. I'm trying to remember. But every time I revisit this, it doesn't matter what point in the movie you click on, I am going to sit there and finish it to the end. It is so compelling, so captivating. Just there you go. The screenplay is laced with the highest form of drug you can get your hands on, because
it's insane.
It's so good. All the performances, everything, down to like the smallest roles. I think, like Rami Malek, like 5 minutes screen time. Josh Peck, 2 minutes. Everyone does great.
Casey Affleck, 1 minute.
Exactly. Fucking everybody is like cast so well. You just found the utmost talent to bring the story to life. If it's not my favorite Nolan film, it's my top 2. Like it's so good, so compelling. The editing is phenomenal. The score is it's top 3 of Nolan's ever.
It's a masterful score. Ludwig killed it.
But this has to be my favorite Ludwig score to date.
Easily. Yeah, for me, easily as well. Shoe Salesman rocks.
Destroy
I'll tell you my place.
Peak.
I have this on my list too. I'll just say it right now. It's my number 2 of the year. Phenomenal. Masterpiece. for me, it's number 1, 2, or 3 between Oppenheimer, Dark Knight, and The Prestige for Nolan. I love all those movies, and Oppenheimer is just, like you said, a humongous cast, but everybody does their roles to perfection in this movie. And yeah, you can watch it at any point, and the dialogue just hooks you. There's something drug filled with this dialogue where it's just like I can't take my eyes away from it. I think the audience felt that. Obviously, $950 million. What a big movie! What a great movie! Big scale, intimate characters. Great
that
stuff.
alone is so phenomenal. $950 million for a R-rated period piece film. That alone is like the fact that it cracked numbers like that.
How did that happen?
In just 3 hours?
How did that happen? Wow. Will that ever happen again? I guess it will, but man.
If it does, it's from Nolan or
Denis.
James Cameron.
James Cameron, yeah.
But he does R-rated stuff, yeah.
You said that was your number 6, right?
Yeah, that was my number 6.
My number 6 is Poor Things.
Hey.
I wanted this to go higher, but my top 5 is stacked. I'm just like, I can't put it in there. But Poor Things, I can't put it in there. Poor Things is a masterpiece. Emma Stone's best performance yet, next to La La Land. I'm a huge Emma Stone fan, best actress of all time. Love her. What she does with this movie in terms of her physicality, her comedy, her emotions, her delivery is just so unique, groundbreaking, incredible. Her dynamics with everybody in the cast, with Willem Dafoe, who is so eerie, but a lot of depth to him. Mark Ruffalo has never been better. He is incredible in this movie. The way his character is so not squeamish, but just so like lowest of the lows, takes advantage of certain people, and it's just like a sicko character. But you learn a lot about him through his interactions with Bella. Rami Youssef is great, delivers a lot of the heart of this movie as well. This direction is fantastic. It's so unique, so different, so weird. Yorgos just, he doesn't miss. I think I liked it even more than The Favorite. And I cannot wait to watch it again and again. I'm going to instantly buy this on Blu-ray because there's so much to chew on this movie. And just look at it. Visually, the production design, the visuals is just one of the more unique movies I've seen all year.
I remember when all the new actors and actors came out, I was watching the one between RDJ and Mark Ruffalo, and they were heavily talking about Poor Things because RDJ was gushing about Ruffalo's performance in it. And
I gotta watch that.
It was so lovely because they were gushing about Oppenheimer and Poor Things most of the time, and just both of those back and forths were wonderful. Because in Oppenheimer, RDJ is amazing.
I want him to win because he's just so Strauss is so good. They already fired the gun. The table scene is good.
At the very least, I can't wait to just see like his Oscar clip play before the awards. Like I think they're gonna play the one where like he's in the what is it after the hearing and he's like he bad mouthed me.
Yeah, that one's great. Yeah, of course. And then he hears like the one with of course Auden Ehrenreich. Yeah, that's a great. That's
you do it all over. You do it all the same.
So good. But I won the table scene. The table scenes are my favorite scenes of the year. I won that scene, but with the breath at the chin, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's
Robert.
I'm gonna watch that scene right after this podcast.
That scene's so fun to watch because then later, when you do find out that there was a spy, like he is very sympathetic. He's like, "You didn't hear. I'm sorry." Like,
yeah.
And at that point in time, he probably believes it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh boy, what a time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though. Let's flip the script. What's your number 5?
Number 5 is probably your number 1 or number 2. It's not Spider. It's Godzilla -1.
Ah, you're wrong, bitch.
Oh. But number 5 is Godzilla -1. One of the, if somebody told me, hey Evan, at the beginning, if this was January 2023, if somebody said Godzilla -1 is going to be your top 5 movies of the year, I would have laughed. I mean, there's no way. Godzilla -1? What even is that movie? This movie is one of the most surprising movies of the year. My heart was racing like I was watching Spider-Verse for the first time. Every scene for me was just like so like I was so invested. I was so enriched in the tale. It was so heartwarming in the beginning. They even play the score for this movie is great. They play like such a rom-com-y vibe in the beginning. He's getting his life together. But then everything crumbles with Godzilla and the trauma. The character relationships are so amazing in this movie. The scene where she pushes him out of the way, my mouth has never dropped so low. I was devastated. And then, of course, it delivers on one of the best endings of any film all year. But yeah, and then, of course, the iconic rendition of Godzilla's score here is cinema magic. Just cinema. This is the reason you go to the movies. That's the highest praise I can give this movie. It is a masterpiece. Number 5.
Truly. My number 5 is John Wick Chapter 4.
Woo-wee! Good movie.
I've yet to properly revisit the movie since watching it back in like March, I think it was.
Me too.
But every time I think about yes, we do need to do that. Yeah, let's do that. What I will say is every time I do think about that and think back to the movie, obviously there's so many great scenes, but I always just think of the final duel between John and Kane. Because not only is it just so beautifully crafted and shot and paced, and the fucking golden hour look because it's at sunrise, but also you put in the dynamic that both of them are longtime friends and neither of them wants to be in this situation. They don't want to hurt each other, but they have to because either John dies and all he's done is for nothing, or Kane dies and he doesn't get to be with his daughter. And you're like, oh my fucking God. And you know, when you get to that final point, he's like, consequences. He pulls away. I'm just like, this is the fucking peak of Keanu's career, goddammit.
It really is. It's a great moment. And for me, you're right. That moment, I wanted both characters to live and embrace their lives. But I also love the way this movie ends. If this is the last John Wick movie, what a baller, perfect way to end on. Kane, yeah.
It really is just like, yeah, the perfect flow of the final scene with John where he's like hobbling down on the steps and he has like the final words with Winston. And he just like looks at the picture of his wife.
Oh, so good. There's something about characters on steps. Like Blade Runner 2049 still always gets me at the very end of that movie with Kay's character.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, tears in the rain. And then same thing for John Wick. Like if a character dies on steps, put this in your notes for Time Blazer. It's great. I'm kidding.
I'll do it.
But John Wick 4 is just, it's peak. It's a great action movie right there next to Mission Impossible. It's some of the best action you'll ever see. So yeah, my number 4 is Suzume.
Hey, that makes sense.
Suzume is perfect. Top 3 was having 3 Japanese films: Boy and the Heron, Godzilla -1, and now Suzume. Great year for Japanese cinema. Suzume, I always say this. I saw it early in the year. I'm like, this can't just be the best movie of the year, right? No way. And it stayed in my top 5 for the entire year because I couldn't think of anything better than such a perfect for Evan movie. The romance is immaculate. The supernatural elements, perfection. This felt like the best of Your Name and Weathering with You in one movie. I still like Your Name better, but it's very close. Both of these are 5 out of 5 for me. Suzume, yeah.
No, sorry. Now that I'm thinking about it, in regards to Suzume, both with that and like I think my like top 2 through 5, all kind of deal with an element of like, this is the status quo, this is how it is, and just like the main characters of that being like, I don't accept.
Yeah. No. Breaking that. And that's what I love about this character where she starts falling in love with I forget the guy's name. Sota. Sota. And she's like, I was devastated. Same thing with Godzilla -1, where it's like you think somebody dies and you're just devastated. But then, he perseveres, and through the luck of life, she's back. But like in this one, she's like, I cannot exist in a world without Sota. It's one of my favorite lines of the year. And I'm like, let's go! Let's go!
Give that back. Get back in there.
I cannot wait to watch this again and again and again. It's on Crunchyroll, so I can watch it whenever I want. But I'm getting the Blu-ray.
I want to do a trilogy binge of Your Name, Weathering with You, and Suzume.
Oh, we have to. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah, I have both of those movies, and I got to get Suzume to round out the collection of Makoto Shinkai. Great visuals.
Release?
What?
When does that release?
March. I believe it's like March 15th, some mid-March, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, Suzume is just a perfect movie in my opinion. The romance, supernatural, the character arcs, the theme of the movie in terms of like how these supernatural or these natural disasters are plagued by supernatural elements, and how that affects the world around them. It was a big grand scale of a movie, but just excellent. And there's a scene in the middle of the movie where it's like they're all in the sky, and then just like it's really heightened the tension of like what's going to happen to a certain character's fate. I'm just like so invested and so in.
So
number 4, Suzume. Yeah.
My number 4 ended up being Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Great movie.
Yeah, phenomenal. I think my only criticism I have in comparison to the other Guardians is I wish it was a bit more vibrant in its color palette. It does feel a tad muted at times. Well, a lot of times, frankly, for me.
Okay.
In comparison. No, I don't think I am. Go look at 1 and 2, and now look at 3, and you're like, I
think 3 is vibrant than 1.
I don't think so. I think take a look like side by side. I don't think it's terrible. I think James obviously knows what he's doing. Maybe it was in service of the story.
You're saying he's a hack?
Yeah, I'm James Franco and Spider-Man 2. You're a hack. Gotta pull my Spidey references. Knew that was coming, Pete. But
stop this, man.
I can't be stopped. 3-hour mark, baby. Here we go. I love this story. This is like such a emotionally resonant family movie, as they all have been. Obviously, Rocket is the emotional core, which is the most genius idea you can do, because Rocket, as like snarly and aggressive as he can be, is the most adorable fucking creature in the MCU. I will always love the detail after Endgame, the fact that Nebula and Rocket were the last Guardians left for 5 years together, and then as soon as Nebula hears over the comm that Rocket is alive and made it back, that she starts welling up, is one of the best things ever.
It's so good. What's the one line when Rocket is reunited in the afterlife? She says like, "It's not your time yet," something like that. Not Nebula, but the other person,
Lila. Yeah,
Lila. It's one of the best scenes of the year.
It's phenomenal. It's a bigger monologue that goes into it, but yeah, that's wonderful. I love the scene where Peter is screaming over the last second where it seems like Rocket's not going to make it, and he wouldn't accept it. Gamora's trying to get him away, but it's like, he's like, I'm not letting him go. Like, and he's just screaming, and with everything you've experienced emotionally with Quill through not just the Guardians films, but through Infinity War, it's like, oh my fucking God. Like, I feel so much for this, and it's such a emotionally devastating yet rewarding film, because it's phenomenal that, say, spoilers, nobody died. They just all go their separate ways, and that hurts just as much.
One of the best probably the best needle drop of the year, Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Days Are Over.
Dog Day Afternoon.
I agree.
Dog Days Are Over is peak. It's so good. It's one of the best endings to a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's a great video of the lead singer of that band. She watches the movie in that scene, and she like broke down crying because it just fits so well, and she felt so honored.
It's so good, and I'm happy for her.
Wonderful.
My number 3 is Past Lives.
Oh.
One of the best movies I've seen all year. I don't have the Blu-ray next to me. It's over there. It's over there at Nathan's house. I gave it to him for his birthday. He still hasn't watched it.
Hey.
I'm resent it. But Past Lives, just peak romance. This idea of longing, of what if, not the what if we talked about, but longing, what if, divide, cultural divide, distance and friendships broken but reunited. It's so, how do I describe this? It's so beautiful. in terms of its dialogue and how it's honest human relationships and how they changed over time, how people change over time. It's a great, well-paced movie. It just feels so raw and real and lived in. I love this movie to pieces.
I was about to say it feels so raw, but yet so handled with care.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen this movie?
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't know. I totally was joking. I didn't know if you've seen it. No.
I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah. I just
it's in the top 5 though.
I adored this movie. The ending always, whenever I see it on Twitter, I'm like, don't show me the ending when she's like walking back from the car. Don't show me that. It's tears and rain. Greta Lee, Teo Yoon, John Magaro, just amazing. Another great trio of 2023. Yeah. What's your number? Where are we at, motherfucker?
3?
Yeah. What's your number 3?
Yeah. And my number 3 is Godzilla -1.
Peak. I was close. I was like, it's your 1 or 2.
It's so good. I echo everything.
What the fuck is your 1 and 2 then? You already haven't. What's your number 2?
You just wait. Settle down. It's some bullshit like the fucking Gran Turismo and the Flash. I like Gran Turismo.
Dungeons and Dragons?
I haven't seen that yet. I need to start to see that. Oh my god, I'm missing so much.
Paramount Plus.
But,
Anyways.
yeah, -1. I echo everything you said about it. I think it's wonderful. A great showcase of the human spirit banding together.
Yes.
I had said in comparison where like Shin Godzilla is the government trying to come together for the people to stop this threat. This puts the problem into the people's hands, and they do whatever it takes for their own survival. It's wonderful. I think my favorite scene, aside from the main like romance stuff, which is wonderful, is the scene like you brought up with like when she pushes him out of the way. But just the aftermath of that, when he wanders out and everybody is gone from sight, and then all the smut of ash rains down, and Godzilla just roars at the sky, screaming at the explosion that he caused. People have written it beautifully in like 2 separate ways, both like whether he's like admitting like this is my power, or screaming at the nuke itself that created him. It's just like, I'm more powerful than you. Like what you've done to me doesn't matter. It's just like fuck.
That's deep. Yeah.
Because I always love the idea of like when you break it down. Which, by the way, there's great pre-mutation design of Godzilla where he's a lot more dinosaur lizard-like at the beginning. Almost like fucking Roland Emmerich's Godzilla, now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, one of the beautiful tragedies of Godzilla that doesn't get touched on too much is that he was just a creature that was mutated by man-made creation. And, you know, whether or not you feel he has a right to enact revenge, it's only like natural of the animalistic nature within him to want to cry out in his probably existence of pain.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's one of the more raw scenes of 2023, one of the raw shots, and you can dig so much into that. Yeah, I love Godzilla -1. I'm going to see the black and white version because I've only seen this movie once. I want to see it again. If they release a black and white movie in the US, then I would definitely go see it.
-1 color. I do want to go see that.
So cool. Like, please release that in America. I need to see a release date for that.
But that being said, also the color work is gorgeous.
Gorgeous. You're right. Yeah. One of the best visuals of the year. It should win best visual effects, in my opinion. Number 2 for me, was Oppenheimer. Great movie, perfect movie. And all the sex scenes in that movie were supposed to be in that movie. Stop it, Twitter, film Twitter, idiots.
So you Poor Things as well?
Yeah, same thing with Poor Things. Yeah. If people stuck around to finally see it, didn't leave halfway through with Poor Things.
Did people leave your screen?
No, but there were people next to me that were not happy with it afterwards. They were like, that was weird. We should have saw something else, somebody said. I love Poor Things. Anyways, Oppenheimer is just, it's again, everything we've said about this movie for the past year now has already been said. It's fantastic, incredible. Cillian better win Best Actor. RDJ better win Best Supporting. Nolan better win Best Director. Ludwig would have been win score. This movie's going to win Best Picture. It's going to sweep the Oscars.
I'm not mad at that at all. I like those top 3 awards. There.
Yeah, me too. And then I hope Emma wins, but if Lily wins for Killers, that'd be good too.
The IMAX was phenomenal.
Peak IMAX.
I gushed about it before, but like with the sound design of like the distance of the explosion and the sound traveling, where like you see it, and then seconds later, and the way they built it up with the 2 test explosions, and then the final like glorious look with the quote of "I am become Death, Destroyer of Worlds."
Yeah, the Trinity sequence, one of the best sequences of the year. Nolan, don't miss. Nolan, don't miss. What's your number 2 now? I'm confused. Is it Past Lives?
Actually, my number 2 is Little Mermaid, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's not...
Well, I was like, no way. I know we both like that movie.
However, Wild and Uncharted Waters, the bop.
It's good.
It's so fucking good, dude. No, my number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's my number 2.
Be serious.
I'm serious. It was my number 1 for so long until I watched.
What the fuck? Beat number? Whoa!
What? I love that response.
It's not Godzilla.
No. Okay, so this was a masterclass of a movie we just did a commentary on. Is it your number 1? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's my number 1.
Yeah,
we talk about it right now too. Yeah.
It's again Gwen, but then also Miles and Miguel, Peter,
everybody in this movie. Yeah, we just watched a commentary about it. It's still peak. The score is peak. The soundtrack is incredible. Thank you, Daniel Pemberton. And I loved everything about this movie. Gwen and Miles, the relationship. I was wondering, are they going to go the romance angle that I gleaned from the first movie? And Phil Lord, Chris Miller, the directors, were all like, in spades. We got you. People on Twitter are like, will you be okay if Beyond ends with them just being friends? I won't be okay. I'll be upset.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Don't trust me.
They can't just be friends. They're both going to live. So thank God for that. That's not this kind of franchise.
Now, Biff, don't you con me.
But give me the kiss. Give me the romance. That's what we've been waiting for. Come on.
If they're not swinging and kissing.
Come on.
I don't want.
Beyond's already the best movie of whatever year it comes out for me. If it does all these things.
Every year.
Hopefully next year. If it comes out next year and it's like between that and the Batman, that's gonna be
and Superman Legacy.
Yeah, 2025 is gonna be stacked. And whatever Oscar movie comes out that year. But anyways, yeah, I love everything across the Spider-Verse. Everything in that movie works for me. The editing, the sound, the character arcs, the character choices, the dialogue. It's just there's so much depth that can be gleaned every time you watch Captain Stacy and Gwen on screen. Gwen and Miles, like you discover new things about each character and their relationships with each viewing. It's a movie I've seen the most. I adore this movie to pieces. I love it.
Yeah. If I were to open Pandora's box of discussion, it would never end.
Never end. Yeah, we can go to 5 hours.
Watch our commentary is phenomenal. Past 100 views. So that's
doing did?
Well. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
What the fuck is your number 1, Nathan? I'm waiting. Is it Past Lives?
Yeah. What's your guess?
That's my only guess. That's the only film that I mentioned that you've seen. You only saw 37 movies. You already mentioned Saw. I can't think of Bottoms. I have no idea.
I haven't seen Bottoms.
That's my only guess. Past Lives.
It was The Creator.
You're joking.
I love you. Just like
there's no way. Did you see The Creator?
I saw it 1.8 times. You remember that story where I went to go see it again?
You had to leave early for it because you saw it in.
Yeah, I had to make it to the Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah,
which is not on my list of rankings, even though I don't know. Could be.
What the fuck? It's a movie.
I know. Yeah, but then I get shit for putting Hamilton on the fucking list. So
that was different.
That's it. It's all live. Fuck you. Anyway, yes, my number 1 is Past Lives.
When did you see this movie, you fucker?
Online when it was out of theaters, and I was like, I can't wait and pay.
Okay, I just felt like a Nathan movie. Did you cry? How many times?
Yeah, I definitely, my tears rolled by the end.
Yeah, by the end, because it
This
really
felt
grows
like
on you.
this felt like a Nathan movie. You said, "You're right, Evan. I am a deeply broken individual. It's why I'm making Time Blazer." But yeah, this movie hit a little too close to home a couple times. But yeah, overall the core romance of it was very compelling. What I love is that obviously she's currently with somebody else.
Yeah.
And obviously that has such an opportunity to be like, oh, get this fucking guy out of here. These two are the real deserving couples.
Yeah.
But the movie crafts it so well that like you appreciate and understand everybody angle in scenario, and like you I was honestly watching it, I was like, depending on how this ends, I feel kind of bad for this white guy. Right here.
Yeah.
But ultimately it's a situation woven where like no matter what the outcome is, there's going to be pain from somebody, and it's not going to be okay. It will be okay, but you're going to have to go through the motions of not being okay.
Yes.
And that's ultimately what we have here. Ultimately, the current situation by the end does not change, but you just feel all the emotion, not just of like what could have been, but the fact that like even when we go to the basis of like, this was my friend and we drifted apart, we reconnected, but ultimately we keep drifting, and it just sucks.
Yeah, we can't just even as friends we can't be together, and it's the idea of like lost love. Maybe in another life, maybe in a past life, things could have been different. The roles could have been reversed. And holy shit, yeah, the movie just really creeps up on you emotionally. And I really like what you said there, where it's like the movie didn't be like, hey, John McGarro's character, you're just gonna be the white guy and you're out of here. But you really get to understand his feeling of isolation, especially the bar scene, which I adore.
And he speaks some Korean as well, so like he can be pretty some things or something, and you just have to be like, he's very respectful.
He's one of the best characters of the year. He's so respectful. Somebody said, "This is me when he's just playing on his PlayStation and she comes home."
Oh yeah, I do love that though. Like you can clearly see how uncomfortable and probably underlying jealous he is.
Yeah,
but that doesn't change anything for him. Like he still is a very respectful person of like, I'm gonna let this play out. Whatever the outcome is, it's not up to me. It's up to her.
It's up to her. He's so understanding. He loves her. He knows she loves him. And that's the sad part for Greta Lee's character, where she knows she loves John Magaro, but she also understands this idea of love for her friend and this idea of what could have been with them together. And I like how the movie gives us time to understand the passage of time with Greta Lee's character in terms of her migration to the U.S., returning to the U.S., and her first encountering John Magaro's character and their love for each other in comparison to what Tae Yu's character was going through in South Korea, what happened with him when he was alone. And then their connection on Skype is so adorable and sweet and awkward and beautiful. And when they had to cut off from each other too, it's just
that especially I've been there and it hurts.
It's one of those things I think a lot of guys, people in general, just go through, where it's like you connecting with somebody from so far away and you're like, how long can this actually last? Are we just going to be talking to each other on our screens for the rest of our lives? Is that healthy for us? Should we just break it apart? This movie speaks to the heart. Because, yeah, you're right. I've been through places like that before, too.
The struggle of long distance is
not great, but even if it's just friends, it's just like, what do you do? It's hard. It's very hard.
And it hurts because you watch the movie and they even get to a point where it's just like, they have to evaluate. It's just like, oh, well, looking at like your budget and time is like, how long realistically before you can come? Year and a half, 18 months. And like deep down, they probably would be willing to wait it out, but it's like, they realize someone has to pull the trigger, or Greta does. She has to pull the trigger, like for the betterment of like her life and stuff, to not be bogged down. As much as that sucks to say, it can also be a reality of people's lives. And again, I've been on the side of a dude on the other screen, just being like, "Oh, that's it," because he got like no warning. It just has to have it shut down immediately, cold turkey.
That scene when he comes back home and he's like, and he gets the news that like she's like, I think this is it, and his face, his reaction, I'm like, I just remember being in the theater, just like, I can't watch this. Like I can't watch it. It's so heartbreaking.
And it's such pain because ultimately, I think it's a 20-year span, like from them being kids to like their reconnection 10 years to another reconnection 10 years.
Yeah, it was a hard to watch movie, but it feels so good. It's one of those loving movies that really understands or know what it understands and talks about. And
yeah,
this is a directorial debut from Celine Song. How? Wow.
One of my favorite things about it is it has such a breathing atmosphere of just, no matter what the setting is, you're just kind of like lingering in the quiet of your thoughts and emotions, as it were, like in real life. Like, here's your situation. This is the scene that transpired. Exist in it.
Exactly. And those scenes of them on the stairs going their separate ways, peak. It reminded me of Suzume in terms of like looking back and just like, oh, it was amazing.
And as a frequenter of using Uber, when he's like, oh, my Uber's like 10 minutes away, and like they walk down and it's like it's 2 minutes away. It's like, that is so not enough fucking time to wrap what needs to be said between you two.
And that final scene, it's good. If you have not seen Past Lives, I really recommend it. It's excellent. And if you stuck this long on our video, definitely watch all these movies in our top 15s and stuff. Yeah, this movie torn to pieces. I love it. Yeah, it remained in my top 5. Just like Suzume, I saw it so early in the year. I'm like, are they going to stay in my top 5? They did. So yeah, this was a great year of movie. 2023 was great. But yeah, it's late. I gotta head out.
Yeah, I gotta
3 hours and 15 minutes. Did not expect that. Catch us next time. Find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. Next week we'll be going over all of Echo if we have time, if I finish it in time. The reviews of Echo are out. I have not seen anything about it. I just remember that Echo reviews came out tonight or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Whenever. Anyways, so we're going over Echo, Percy Jackson episode 5, which I cannot wait for tomorrow. Monarch finale. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about what the hell goes on in there. Hopefully there's a seed for season 2. I really hope it. It still has not been renewed. Come on, Apple. But Apple isn't one to cancel a lot of stuff. So we'll see. And then, yeah, we'll go over most anticipated as well next week.
Yeah.
I want to go over some of the stuff we're excited for this year. So yeah, that's it for me. Harris EV9.
You follow me at _TimeBlazer on Twitter and Instagram. Making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Hell yeah. Playing Ben, the best character, who can now has the abilities of Kahori and can do everything. Right.
No, but honestly, once I, release a bit more info about the usage of your electric powers in terms of your character, I think it sounds like so wonderful.
Oh, I'm getting chills. That's cool.
Absolutely. Hopefully, new presentation coming up as soon as this trailer's finished, because I want a big old end of panel. Of course, we brought a trailer. Shit. But yeah,
I miss those days. We used to have those every month. I felt like.
And I can't wait to be the motherfuckers. I got a trailer, and we watch it, and we're like, roll it again.
Roll it again.
And I'm also finalizing a look of one of the other not yet unveiled characters, and I think they look great. Based off of a certain look of another character, fairly admit that, but we'll get there when we get there. So that being said, I hope you guys.
It's Godzilla, isn't it? You just mean another character.
Actually, Evan's the Last of Us character. How about that? Oh shit! So that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. That's not the Star Wars one. Fuck, I got lost. lost in the sauce. All right, catch you next time.
Peace out.